shooting the shelf.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Shooting the Shelf, Season 3, Episode number 14. It is Sunday night, April 7th, in the year 2024. Curtis is distracted. Good thing he's not driving. We've got a fun show tonight for you. We've got a special guest, but a quick shout out to all the folks out in the chat.
What's that? Sorry?
What?
Huh?
Hello?
What's going on?
Is this on? Am I talking?
Yeah. What's going on?
We're doing a show. We're live. This is live.
Okay, fine. Whatever. We're live. That's fine.
Do you want to say hi to the folks in the chat, Curtis?
The folks in the chat kind of disappointed me. I'm just being honest with you. So, the whole system is letting me down right now. So,
I'm sorry you feel that way.
Yeah. So I don't.
Okay. I'll say hi to the folks in the chat. We got Rob Zamora.
You know what? Wait, before you get into all that, let me just here's here. Okay. Listen, it was a fun joke with the hat thing. Okay. All right. But I need another vote. I need one more vote to get rid of this stupid hat. All right. And get it out of here. So I just need these folks in the chat, supposed to be our friends, to go to the YouTubes, hit the community tab, and vote Shogun so I can get rid of this hat. All right.
Oh, it went up to 51%.
End it now.
All right. It is gone.
And it's out of here.
Okay. Well, I mean, sorry for that, folks. I thought we were doing like the Democrat. I mean, the whole thing. I thought this was what Curtis wanted.
This is Merca, and we buy votes around here, and that's what I just spent the last hour doing. So,
quick super chat from Van Johnson. Cowboy Curtis rides again. Yee haw. And Rob Zamora with Hadriana Forever, which
yes,
I can 100%
Hadriana Forever as a C, maybe even D ranking for sure.
I don't know what that means.
It's a tier thing. But yes, back to the people in the chat who I really love. These folks never have let me down. We've got Rob Zamora, Dave Orkin, JMax77, Andy the Collector, Stacy Lynn, Carver Customs, Brian Lynn. We got both the Lynn's in the house. We've got Joe Martinez, Van Johnson, Stephanie Orkin. We got both Orkins in the house. We got Tanya McCoy, Kevin McCoy. We got both McCoys in the house. We got Jordan. We got both the Purple Gang in the house. Eric Johansson, M. Vera 1976. Eric, let's see, the first 58. Mavericks out there, Patrick Boyle, Michael Morales, Jacob Forna. He wanted me to wear the hat, but sorry, Jacob, hat's dead. Mantal Morrow, excellent photographer. We may even have something from him tonight because we typically do. So we'll see. Kirby Smith, Kent Pool Collects, my intern partner, David Smith, Dirks is out there, Mark Rivera, Dork Lair, Dub3, Jen is out there, G. Echevarria, I am TJ Williams. Anybody else? Repeat. Pete and Repeat are both in a boat. Joe Gonzalez, Rosedale Studios. Did I say Alberto Morales? If not, there you go. If I did, there's twice. Rick Emmert, and that's everybody. So thanks for
David Williams
live. Anybody watching us on replay, David Williams just jumped in. The hat is gone. The hat is dead, and we're here to have a great time. So
I'm glad that your desire to be my friend and part of the show was more committed than you were to that hat.
Listen, the hat was fun. It was a good gag for a day, maybe even a week, 2 weeks.
I feel like you just need to spend some more time in
Michigan.
Yeah, I think if you had spent more time in Michigan, it might have
Oh,
stuck.
yeah. Yeah, if I spent a few more weeks in Michigan and that kind of got ingrained in me, then yeah, I'd have no problem with it.
Which
so.
I somehow feel Missouri is more the place you would feel the vibe for that hat than.
Listen,
what do I know?
If you've watched Purple Gang Gang live, you may get the impression that I'm from kind of the hillbilly area of Missouri, but I'm really not. I'm actually from the St. Louis area. So if you're from St. Louis area or Kansas City, not quite hillbilly. Everywhere else in Missouri, like the other 98% of the state, totally hillbilly. But yeah, not so much here. So
I've been to probably about 37% of the state, maybe higher. So I mean, that's an accurate description.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the big towns, and then you got fields and nothing, and a lot of fireworks stands, like huge amount of fireworks stands all year long. I'm not talking about around the 4th of July. I'm talking all year long. You can get fireworks. December, go get some fireworks. Yeah, everything. Somebody's birthday, fireworks. It's a Tuesday, fireworks. Just got off work on Friday, fireworks. So there you go.
Yes. I don't know if 37% is accurate. I don't know. But hey, we've got a guest tonight.
Okay.
I mean, we usually do have a guest. Do you want to introduce this guest, Curtis?
Yes. So very happy to have this guest on. We do a little thing on Sundays called the Customizing Studio. And this guest that we've got today has been just a ray of sunshine in that studio. Came in with all kinds of just excitement and love for the toy lines that we like, customizing, painting, and has just been a joy to watch. And pleased to introduce Mira to the crowd. If you haven't been in their studio or you haven't spent much time, you will probably enjoy this one because she is awesome. So welcome, Mira.
Hi, thank you so much for the really sweet introduction, Curtis. I really appreciate it. It's so awesome to be here and to be live. This is so interesting. I've never really done something like this before. So I'm really excited to talk with everybody. Hello. So it's gonna be really fun. I'm super stoked.
Yeah, I mean I'm not always nice, but tonight getting that hat off, I feel especially happy right now. So
valid.
You picked a good night to be on. So
awesome.
All right. Well, we do a thing at the start of the show called Shelf Selections, where Jesse and I have picked out some pictures that inspired us this week. And we kind of just pull them up and talk about them a little bit. So we are going to go ahead and do that. And Mira, if you have anything to throw in on there, have at it.
Fantastic.
So starting off, this is my first selection, and this is War Weasel 83, who's been kind of a regular on here as of late because I love me some Battle Beast, and he loves him some Battle Beast, and has been doing some amazing Battle Beast tributes through Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions. This is another one of my favorite figures from the Battle Beast line. You can see if you look down there towards the bottom, you've actually got a couple different versions of that Battle Beast, the original. And then you see in the middle of the screen there, his upsized version using Mythic Legions as well as some third party and some fodder parts. So just killing it, doing a great job. Can't wait to talk to him on the show and just kind of geek out over some Battle Beast, vintage and the new stuff that he's doing. So
that's so cool. I love that head and the color scheme and all of that. It looks really cool. I'm not too familiar with the Battle Beasts. It sounds familiar. Maybe something my dad knows more about. But I love that use of parts. It's so cool. So cool.
Yeah, they were like these little tiny figures, back in the, I guess it was like mid 80s. And they had very limited articulation, but they were all anthropomorphic figures. So, pretty much any animal you can imagine, they did a Battle Beast for. And then they had these like thermal rubs, like things on their stickers on their chest. And so each one of them would be in a faction, and they were either water, fire, or wood. So you had to rub the thermal rub to find out which ones they were. and it wasn't always like clear. Like you would get one that was like a shark, and you would be like, oh, well, this is clearly a water faction one, right? Because it's a shark. And then you would hit the rub, and you'd be like, oh crap, he's fire. And so then he goes with the fire folks, and yeah, it was just really neat. And I loved the designs. So
that's so cool. Thank you for explaining. I really appreciate it. The thermal sticker function seems really cool. You don't really see stuff like that nowadays.
Yeah, you don't have as much. I think over time they kind of wore down a bit. So I don't know it was a good lasting design, but hey, when they first came out, it was awesome.
Yeah, no, true.
Is that a Xylona head?
No, that is a third party head.
Okay.
I can't remember who because I was talking to him separately, getting ready for our show with him. And I can't remember where he said he got that from. And then I think the drill bit, I don't know. He'll be on next week and he can talk about it. Pretty sure the lower legs actually came from a different figure that he got those off of. But the other parts, I believe, were all third party printed. So
okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if those legs came from. I know there was that one. I don't collect Power Ranger stuff, but I saw there was like a deer character or elk or something that I think had legs like that. So I'm wondering if it came from there.
Yeah. Well, next one is Jesse's pick, but actually Jesse didn't know this till just now, but it was also my pick. Me and Jesse picked the same picture, but I will let Jesse talk about it first.
So does that mean that I only have 7 pictures to put up tomorrow?
No.
Or did you go ahead and pick another?
I went ahead and picked a different pick, but I just want to let you know that everything that you're getting ready to say about how awesome this is, I'm going to agree because I also thought this was awesome.
Well, I think this is really cool because Raph is down on his back getting trashed by the Leatherhead figure.
No, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
I know. That's why I said it. No, this is cool. I mean, I do like it because it usually means Raph is probably the first one to, go off half-cocked, not properly engaging and, getting his butt kicked before they can formulate a proper plan. So the fact that he's getting smacked down is pretty on point. But just the poses with like Donnie and Leo leaping up and Mikey, breakdance in the background. I really like the shot. The lighting is fantastic. The water splashes. I'll save some stuff for you, but yeah. So yeah, I just think this is a really sweet shot. And, I love the kind of harsh lighting, it's not like colorful and, fun. Like it feels like a real gritty, like workspace, like sewer
it feels like in a sewer or water treatment plant or something. I absolutely love these Mezco turtles. I just have the one. I've got the Donatello, who I was actually messing with earlier today. Let me kind of embiggen myself real quick, just get a show mine, but just playing around with this thing. And man, these things
what show are we on right now?
These are super cool. I'm just sorry, but these Mezco turtles are awesome. And Jesse, you got to get yourself a Raph because man, these things are just, knowing how big of a Raph fan you are, like, yeah, you got to get one.
I'm holding out that they'll do individual pack releases or something down the road.
I'm telling you, check out those Mezco boards. Some people are breaking up the sets. But yes,
I don't want to put that much effort into it.
I think this is an amazing photo. Jason does a lot of these where they feel like very long, it feels very realistic because it's not just something really short in front of you. It's like there's just a lot of distance there. And I love the splashing water and all the just different movement on the turtles. They do have different bandana attachments in the back, so you can make them like they're not all just like going the exact same way. So the way that he used those and kind of twisted them and used some different attachments to make it show the movement of them. This is just a really great job. So he killed it with this.
So cool. I was gonna say, I definitely agree with what you guys said. Donatello was always my favorite of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just liked how he was kind of the nerdy, brainy one, so I kind of resonated with that. So it was cool. I watched it as a kid with my sisters. We would all watch. I don't remember which one that we watched, but I love the cinematography, like the cinematic aspect, and the color grading is really well done. Like the grittiness you guys talked about, very cool.
I also like the nerdiness of Donatello, but my love for Donatello started somewhere else. Jesse, I'm gonna ask you, can you guess where my love of Donatello came from originally?
The Star Trek crossover figure?
Nope.
What?
Okay,
There's
then I have no
Star
idea.
Trek crossover.
The
That's really cool.
The original Nintendo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, where he had the longest weapon, and so you could like stand on top of things and like hit stuff down with his bow that the other ones couldn't reach.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and Raph was absolutely terrible in that game because you had to be like right on top of them in order to do any damage. So yeah, that bow staff, definitely the weapon of choice for Nintendo.
That's so cool. I had no idea that they had a game. Like, I've been a Nintendo fan since the DS era, so I mean, I know that's not that long ago, but that is so cool.
And this is the part of the show where Mira makes us feel old.
Oh,
so.
no, I'm sorry.
Don't worry, you're not going to make me feel old. I guarantee you I am way more immature than you are.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, great job, Michael. I'm sorry, Jason. This is just amazing. It's Jason B. Michael on Instagram. Check him out. A lot of great stuff. So next one is mine. And this is Schizo_customs. And it's probably not going to show super well on here. So you may want to just actually go to the Instagram and check it out. But what I really loved about this one, you've got all these different, like, squid, lithid, whatever you want to say, heads, that he painted in different ways, but it's not just the colors that he used. And it's not even just the blending of colors that he used, but he's got like all these like little spots and things that aren't sculpted details, but the way that he painted them makes it feel like these are different shapes, different, unique pieces. So I just absolutely love that.
The last one looks really different from
the last one he painted so different that you can't even tell that it's the same as the rest. But no, the other ones, I love when people can take it. It's one thing to paint the details that are sculpted in there, and kind of do the paint by numbers kind of thing. It's another thing when you start, blending colors, when you start adding extra details that aren't actually in the sculpt and make it really pop. So, the fact that he took these heads and didn't just paint them all the same way, or just, 3 or 4 different colors, but did all these unique things in there, is really exciting. So,
yeah,
so
just
cool.
I don't really know what to add, but yeah, the fact that each color, like, I know like my brain knows it's the exact same sculpt, but because of the way the light and it's not like they're lit, differently, there might be a slight color shift on some of them just because of the way the camera reacts to it. But like, overall they look so different. Yeah. It'd be cool to see those in person. So yeah, definitely go check out his page, which, that's why we do. That's part of the reason we do this, is we find stuff we like and we want people to go check out other stuff and add more cool stuff to your feed.
Yeah, there you go.
So cool. I love that purple one. It's got like this kind of metallic sheen to it. Like, it's so like, and that dark red one, those eyes are so piercing. And
that red one's scary.
That one is awesome. And like that orange one, the gradient on it, it almost looks like it's molten. Like the absolute like depth of these is so inspiring. It makes me want to go. Oh, I want to go paint some more right now. So it's so awesome. Definitely some new things to tinker with. So awesome.
Yeah,
stuff.
The red one, you're right. The eyes are awesome on that one. The one in the top right corner, I think, is just all the different, like, because it's several different colors in there, as it goes from almost white at the bottom through like browns and blues and purples all the way towards the top. And yeah, it's just super cool. So great work.
I mean, I wouldn't want to encounter any of these anywhere, but that one in the top right is the one that like is actually making my skin kind of crawl.
Yeah.
It's giving Cthulhu. It's giving some,
Eldritch
ancient
horror.
Lovecraftian horror. Yes, Eldritch horror vibes.
There you go. The next one is Jesse's.
Speaking of Trevor, I hope you're caught up to us now. We're around the 21:15 minute mark, Trevor. This is a picture by the one and only 16shooter, 16_shooter on Instagram, where he's got like a dwarf trio moving through the caverns, and he had it tagged, I think, where all the different paints came from. I think some of them he did, some were other people, but then I don't know what the figure is behind it, but that giant red hand just coming out of the shadows like a dragon or some sort of monster coming out. I just really like that. And of course the Carver custom torches. This reminds me of artwork I saw in like my brothers had the art book of the animated Hobbit, the Rankin and Bass Hobbit movie, and this reminds me of some of the artwork I see in there.
Yeah, so Trevor was on last night, Purple Gang Gang. If you guys didn't check it out, really fun show with him on there. And he talked a little bit about this photo. Apparently the hand, because some people were guessing that was maybe a Granomir hand, but he said it's actually from a Diablo figure. Obviously you got the Carver custom torches in there. I believe, if I remember right from the post, the middle head there on the three dwarves, the middle one was painted by Stephen Bisciotti, who, I mean, very famous, talented, alpha male of all males, and great painter. But yeah, he did a killer job on that one. But I think Trevor painted the other two. And
okay,
this is the part of the show where we say, Trevor needs to stay in his lane. But that being said, did a great job. So really nice picture. I love how it all came together, and the fact that he's got, stuff from different toy lines. He's got stuff from different artists, and then he's got some of his own paint work in there. It just feels like a really cool collaboration. So
yeah, and it all pulls together nicely. And you know what? I'm gonna say it, Curtis. I'm sorry, Trevor. You can drive in any lane you want, because you can handle the road, sir. Hats off to you.
Yep. Mira, you got anything on this one?
I was gonna say I loved like the lighting and like the depth and the color. It all like really like you feel like you're transported into the image. I feel like that's something that's really cool about it. I love that. Like the depth and the use of shadows and light together really brings you in. So I love that. And all the warm colors. It uses warm colors, but also has all of these like dark, like brownish grays. I really like how all of those kind of combine together to like draw you into that world.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like the light is coming from the torches, and like the rest of it is a dark cave. So yeah, good job lighting it. And I'm not even going to make any jokes about colored lighting. So there you go. I'm grown. So next one is mine. And this is from a good friend of ours, new permanent member of the OffWorld channel, Friday nights, Joe_G.Customs. He has started doing some more photography lately, and this one I thought was just absolutely stunning. Clearly this is all lit with a green light, of course. But the way that he's got, Poxus with his hand like that up to that other figure, and then like this like smoke trail coming off of it, looks like he just like I don't know, like threw a plague at him, like just like just like, yeah, step aside, and just disintegrated the guy. So I absolutely love this. I think this turned out awesome. I know Joe was talking to us the other day about really trying to practice some more photography, and I mean, right out of the chute, this looks awesome. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I probably grabbed this in my snap of pictures for this week, but unfortunately the first 4 I saw back in my feed did not include this one. This, because like I was like, oh, this is really cool. I was like, who is this?
Yeah,
and then I realized it was Joe, and I was just like, what? Like, not that I like don't believe Joe can do this, just like something this like this I have not really seen from him before. And yeah, the first thing that caught my is just how Poxus's eyes are, or just the way that lighting is just hitting those dead orbs. And that hand and like it's like that knight's come running in to attack him, and he's just like not even phased by it. Just like,
he's not even looking at him.
Problem.
He just keeps focused on what he's doing ahead and just
he's coming right at us. We're next, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever purple lighting he's got in the background there. But yeah, this is excellent job, Joe. Trevor, watch out.
It's absolute, like, you can feel like Poxus's gravitas as he's like, gazing into you with those sunken eyes.
Whoa.
Like,
we don't use big words like that here.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry. Go ahead. Okay. I was just gonna say, I feel it. Like you can feel that, like, that energy in that space, and I really love the colored lighting. That is something so cool. It's something I have not tinkered with yet, but it looks so good. And like you said, it does look like he's like just thrown that, that plague, and that character is just fading into dust. It's a really, like, being able to capture that much power and character into an image is something I think that takes a lot of skill and practice, and just being able to do that off the cuff, I think, is really, really incredible.
Yeah, don't forget I got a Missouri education, Mira. So I think, I've seen a lot of pictures of Poxus, but almost every picture of Poxus that I've seen is focusing on him and his bow and the cool arrows that he comes with and all this and that. But thinking of him as, one of the four horsemen, and as the plague member of the four horsemen, to see something like this really, I don't know, for me, it was like, oh yeah, he's the plague guy. It's not all about the bow and arrow and looking cool and all that. So, great job, Joe. I like it.
I'm just not seeing, because the screen is so small. Alberto's saying that's the Red Death head on the knight.
Oh, maybe that's why there's no face to it. He'd Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look at that on a bigger screen.
That's why it looks disintegrated. Yeah, that's cool.
Brilliant.
Awesome. And then Trevor said, "Stay in your lane, Joe." That's funny. All right. Next one is Jesse's.
So this is Tora Nerd, and this is some pop and swap customizing going on using I think that's the I just went blank on her name. Freya head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure everything about the rest of the figure, but it looks like it's got some soft goods on there. It gives me kind of like Sorsha vibes from Willow. Just like the lighting, kind of this, the kind of sepia tones in this. Like it's not like a creepy, like evil enchanted force, but something feels off here. And I'm just like, I'm ready to go on this adventure and see where this character is going.
Okay, Trevor, it's me, the plague guy. I wouldn't have thought that Sorsha from Willow, but that you nailed it, man. Because as soon as you said that, I was like, yep, that's it. Great. I mean, I just love the lighting and the tree setup and all of that there. With the pose and everything. This is just really cool. So I don't have much more to add than what you said, because you nailed it.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's something almost, I love like sepia tone like pictures, like that kind of like ambery brown. There's something really like, something really nice about it. It's just so beautiful, and I feel like that lighting in the background kind of gives it. I interpret it as something that's kind of hopeful, like maybe something is watching over her and guiding her as she's going through this journey. And I feel like I love like the helmet with I love the wings. Like I love the helmets that have the wings. There's something so like powerful about that. And like it does look like she's a little bit scared, like from that facial expression, but I love that like combo of goods and like that she's riding a horse. It really tells a story, and it makes you curious about the character, and you want to learn more about her. Like she looks like an absolute badass. I hope that's okay to say.
Totally.
As Jin says, it looks like a painting, and I agree. Yeah, this actually does look like an oil painting or something.
It's giving,
I like that hopeful touch because, like, yes, she's riding into something that might be threatening or dangerous, but like, yeah, that hopeful like eye kind of on her back is that's a cool way to see that.
Okay, I need to go back to this last picture for a second because Joe says, yeah, Red Death head and cigarette smoke. So basically, what Joe's saying is, all you photographers out there with your little fog cans and your little Photoshop things, all he needs is a pack of menthols and a Red Death head, and he's up to speed with you guys. So
practical effects are king anyway.
Which also makes me kind of wonder if Joe was just taking this picture and smoking a cigarette, and it just came out like this, and he was like, "Yeah, I meant it for it to be like that for sure." So,
nice.
Sorry, had to pull that up because I just thought that was funny. Zipper merge.
Everybody's changing lanes. It's a zipper merge this time next year. Nate Barch is going to be in product management.
And then for my next one and last one of the day, I had to throw this out here. I mean, it's Gambit, it's Mafex, it's a cool shot. Yeah, this is the ultimate Luke on Instagram. And I love the pose. I love the I mean, it's one of my favorite figures. And I just think this is.
Did I freeze or did Curtis freeze?
Am I frozen?
Well, I didn't see.
Oh, I think it must have been you then, Jesse.
Ooh.
Sorry. But yeah, I just, this is one of my favorite figures. It's a great pose. It's a great shot. So yeah, I like it a lot.
I love that coat on him, like that. It's like the flow and the energy. It has so much like dynamicness in it, and I love X-Men, Gambit, like all that whole shebang. Super awesome. So he's very much slaying. So
very nice.
Mira, how much did Curtis tell you to say things like Donatello's your favorite, Gambit's amazing? I'm like, I don't feel like you're targeting me by any sense, but you're really supporting Curtis's stuff. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not sure if you've heard, Jesse, but I am the puppet master. I am the kingmaker. So there you go.
Good thing I'm just the court jester.
No, talk more about fandom stuff later. I know there's probably way more stuff outside of other things that are uncorrelated. It just so happened, to correlate in this way. So who knows? Fate works in mysterious ways.
There you go.
I mean, you guys are on the same wavelength. Like, that's fine. I get it.
Yeah,
cool. There shouldn't be the last. Were you saying this is the last of yours?
This last one of mine. You have one more.
Okay, I was gonna say I thought I had one more.
Yeah, you have one more. But any thoughts on this one before we move on? I know you're excited to get to your next one and skip mine, but
no, this is like I think this figure is cool. Like, I don't have it. I don't plan on getting it, but like it's an awesome looking figure. I mean, as far as Gambit figure goes, this looks like the coolest Gambit I have ever seen. And yet with the coat coming up behind him, it looks like he's just jumped off a ledge or landed somewhere. And he's just chucked some cards or, cracked someone over the head with a stick. Like, this is, like, he might not be my favorite character, but I don't actually hate Gambit. But yeah, this is a really cool shot.
I will say this was for me, I've been putting together my little X-Men display there for about a year now. And as I was going through, I was kind of trying to pick the best version that I could find. So some characters it's Mezco, some characters it's Mafex, some it has to be Marvel Legends because there's not a good Mafex or Mezco one. This one was tough because the Mezco one is really good as well with a nice soft good cloak just like this one. It has very nice sculpted details. This one just edged it out for me, but I've seen pictures of both and they're both great figures. But yeah, I do like this one just slightly more. So
I mean, just the lighting and everything on it. I mean, if I just let my eyes go a little blurry, like it turns into like Jim Lee, like and Scott Williams, like cross hatching, like from the 90s comics and stuff. So yeah, this is fantastic.
And our last shelf selection of the day from Jesse Arnold, the guy there at the bottom of the screen.
Hey,
Gollum.
So this is from Tatted Toy Dude and Wholesome Warlock. I know they just took this picture to like pander to me because it's got Thistlethorn in it. But it's got, their favorite boy in there, Gollum. I mean Richard Simmons, poking out from the back there. And this is a genuinely fun picture. I had not seen it before, but like Thistlethorn looking like he's just had a rough day and made some bad choices with his little hat and everything, and the beer stein, and then Gollum just kind of seeing through dimensions, and Richard Simmons just back there like trying to tell you to like drink your water and get in shape. I thought this was great. I don't know what's behind them in the back. I don't know if that's like a bird or something.
That's what I was wondering, because it almost looks like a perched eagle or something, or a hawk or something, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. So if you guys are in the chat, let us know what that is in the background there. But yeah, I mean, this is a fun one. You know, Thistlethorn looks like he's had a few too many. He's feeling pretty good. Gollum, yeah, he maybe had some bad mushrooms or something. I'm not sure what's going on there. You know, only Trevor knows what's under that loincloth. And you know, you got Richard Simmons there just being happy. He's having a good time. And it looks like they're at Billy's Caravan, if I'm seeing that correctly. So
cool.
Yeah. So there you go.
This was not just sorry, Mira. No. Go.
Oh, it's okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You can go. I feel like okay. I was gonna say, like, just we both like Thistlethorn, so now we have something in common, you know. Like, I love the.
How much did you pay her to say that?
Like, and I just love that his sculpt has like so much expression and character in it. It's like no matter like however you pose it, you can really get like the vibes of what he's doing. And I think the hat is such a cute addition. So like he's one I definitely want to get for my collection eventually, or they'll do a 2.0 eventually. That would be so cool. But I thought that part, like, I like the way that they set him up. That was cool. And Gollum definitely looks like he's staring into my soul. Like there's something going on there. So he's a funky little guy.
That's for sure.
Well, we've got both Jordan and Van in the chat, but nobody seems to know what that is in the right side there. I'm going to say it's a perched eagle is what my vote is.
Okay.
But I don't know. They apparently don't know either. So,
I mean, I'm really hoping they do a version 2 of Thistlethorn. Just because I have one. Technically, I have 2, but I cannot part with the second one because it was a gift and it's all signed by the Horseman. But it was my first figure, got me into the line, and I just feel like I'd really like to see a new version of him with some of the new 2.0 parts they've been doing and all of that. And maybe
when you say you wanted Thistlethorn 2.0, you really mean a 2.0, a version 2 that is also a 2.0. You don't mean.
Well, I said version 2.
Yeah, but you said 2.0 parts. So and when you say that, you're talking about. Gotcha. Okay.
Yes.
So I make sure people in the chat know that when you're saying 2.0, you're referring to the.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I do have a habit of correcting people when they say 2.0 when they mean version 2, because I think it's important to clarify that, you know, you don't want I can't think of anybody. There's probably somebody who wants an Otho 2.0. Most people want an Otho version 2.
Correct. Yeah. Unless it's like Otho that's been in prison in like a Erethyr dungeon for years and hasn't eaten, and so he's gotten really skinny, and so now he's a 2.0.
Like Orm in the second Aquaman movie. Like nobody wants the 2.0 Orm from the beginning of Aquaman 2. You know, they want the full version 2 Orm 10 minutes later when he gets a haircut.
There you go. Well, that is the end of shelf selections, but that is not it, because we've got a giveaway to do. We've actually got 2 giveaways tonight. So we're going to go ahead and pull up the first one and get it going, and then we'll get into our conversation here with Mira. So this is the first one here. And Mira, you want to talk to the folks about what is going on here?
Wait. Before we do this, just real quick so we can start collecting, what hashtag are we using for this?
Ooh. That's a really good question. I didn't think about the hashtag part.
Do you have a name for this head or what?
Galaxia came into my head.
There you go.
Something like that. Galaxia. I This one gave me some trouble. It was really fun to paint though. I feel like it's finally got the energy and vibe that I wanted. It was originally like white like that head, but I was like, oh, I want to do a metallic vibe, and I was thinking it would be cool to, I don't know if you guys have seen like Lost in Space, but I kind of really like how those. I'm sure people have. I just don't like
You're
the
talking
season.
about the newer like Netflix one,
The
right?
newer
Okay.
Netflix one. The old one is great too. It has its own charm and its own vibes. I haven't watched all of the old one. I'm about like halfway done with the new one. But I really love those aliens that have that, looks like that they have a whole galaxy inside their little like face helmet. I don't even know if it's like face helmet thingy.
Yep.
And so I was kind of trying to channel like a steampunk variant, because the original one is like silver and blue. And I was like, well, might be cool to have like one that has some like more brassy gold undertones with some elements of some silvery irony highlights. And I was honestly trying to tinker with some color shift paints in that visor. And it, like, I have another helmet and it looks blue, so it's so cool getting to see how like the base color that you choose can really change the way that the paint plays. And I was really happy. Like, eventually I originally tried to make the visor look silver, and I used it, like, me and my dad, he's like, oh, we could try to do a paint pen outline. I'm like, oh, that looks terrible, so I had to go correct it. And so it was a lot of fun, like practice and learning and being able to get the exact characteristic that I want. So and it was very kindly gifted to me from Len from King Customs, in a batch of different heads to paint, and it was really awesome getting to explore. And I can't wait to see how somebody decks this head out on a body, maybe cosmic or mythic. It's definitely giving cosmic for me, but I always love cosmic mythic fusions, and seeing what folks come up and tinker with. There's endless possibilities out there.
Yeah. So as far as like that, the stuff from Len, one thing that I haven't told you yet, like, we just did the spotlight for the customizing studio for March, which was Maverick. And he got the care package and then also got a part named after him. Like, you were technically the first one, because we did it for February. So that customizing, that package that you got was kind of like as we were generating the idea and figuring out how we were going to move forward. Because we were previously doing like we were giving out a couple gift cards each week, and it didn't seem like that was going over as well. So we wanted to try to do something a little bit more. So we got out that care package to you, and then we're like, okay, this worked out pretty well. Let's make this a regular monthly thing and kind of put a name to it and make a post about it. So you were kind of the guinea pig for that.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's so kind.
Yeah, so you can, all the stuff that you got from that is really just from you being in the studio, being so positive, asking a lot of good questions, sharing knowledge, and just having a fun time with everybody, each Sunday in the studio. It's been amazing to hang out with you. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. It's been really great getting to learn from everybody and like ask questions. And it's honestly, the Cabal has just been so wonderful and welcoming, and it's just so cool that there's a community that exists to lift other people up, and like just there's this general sense of kindness and sharing and wanting to, like, have everybody learn more about this hobby. It's just been really, really wonderful, and I hope I can do as much as I can to give back to all the kindness that I've received over the last 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, you've been a real shot in the arm for some of us, older guys, older folks in there when we're going to the studio and we're just like, either tired or maybe haven't had our morning coffee yet or whatever. And then you come in and you're just like bouncing off the walls and all excited and having fun. And it's definitely cool. So a question about this piece. So I know just from hanging around, you love doing a lot of dry brushing and stuff, which I can definitely see some of that in this helmet. But then you also have like the parts of the purple. So did you kind of like tape some of that off when you went to go do that? Or did you do different techniques between the visor and then the other to get that, the way that you wanted it to?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll like kind of start from the beginning of how it worked. So it started out completely white, glossy primed, and I tinkered with that some, but it was hard. And I was like, Let's just do the traditional matte black, the Chaos Black
Mm-hmm.
primer. That's been my favorite one. So I had my dad help me prime them up. We have this garage, and so we can like prime up a whole bunch of things at once, air it out, and then bring them inside and just tinker on them together, which has been awesome. And so primed it black. I started off dry brushing with I think it's like, I don't remember what gold I used off the top of my head. I can, if folks are interested, feel free to let me, like, I can let you know exactly what color, but it was dry brushing some gold on it and on like the whole back part. I didn't tape
Mm-hmm.
anything off that. I probably should do that next time.
Okay.
But I just had it as is, and I hold it, and I have a little magnifier that I got, that my optometrist was like, hey, this might be able to help you, because I wanted to go in and try and think, like, I can't just do this straight up as is. And so I popped it under the magnifier, dry brushed it, and then I was like, okay, I feel good about this gold texture I have on it. Let me see what this metallic paint looks like. And I got a really small brush and started like kind of painting it in layers on it. And I had a very little amount of paint, but it was all honestly just dry brushing layers and layers and layers until I felt comfortable with it. And then I was like, well, I really want to emphasize that really cool shape that it has. So I'm going to try using a very small paint, like a silver paint ink thing. And I tried to, like, my dad helped me try to trace the outline, but it was too thick, even though it was the ultra fine. And I was like, oh, I have to go course correct. And I went back and basically dry brushed the edges and then dry brushed them. And the gold kind of seeped into the part until I kind of got the blend between the gold and the purple where I wanted it. And then after that, I'm like, okay, let's highlight the details with some silvery bits to have it be kind of steampunky. And so I kind of just dry brushed it until I felt comfortable. Honestly, I mainly do dry brushing. I want to get out of my comfort zone and learn more about oh, and I did a wash. I totally forgot. I did a wash. You can see on the right side there's that kind of little divotty part and those little brown parts. Or I think I used it was a black Nuln oil. Yeah, I used the Nuln oil wash and kind of because I wanted to emphasize kind of the deeper parts. I'm still learning how to use those because I don't want to get any like tea stain stuff, but I want to still find ways to highlight the details. So I popped that on there and then I dry brushed some more until I felt like this is pretty good. I usually spend a long time on a piece. I hold it and I just work on it for like multiple days and like, okay, I'm starting to get frustrated. I'm going to set it down, work on something else. So it's nice to have multiple pieces to work on until you feel really happy with it. You're like, this is something I feel proud of and I would love for somebody to have it in their collection. And you're like, okay, who wants it? So that's been fun. That's the story of this one. So
yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
I mean, once again, it's been cool to see as you've gone through this journey and kind of, like you said, trying new techniques, try a paint marker or, whatever, it didn't work out. So now you try something different and, trying some color shift paints, and I'm going to use a wash on this one. And, a lot of that it's just that it's experimenting and, seeing what works and what doesn't work. And some things that work for one person may not work for another person. And, so yeah, that's really cool. I like, that explanation of how you went through there. And then also just the kind of the lost in space vibe that you talked about on the visor is really cool. So
thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I'm happy to dive in more. And I've honestly gone down so many YouTube rabbit holes, like that post that I did in the Cabal, like everybody sent all these amazing resources. So like when I have free time, I'm like, oh, how can I paint white hair? And I'll just like find a video in that chat and kind of jump in like, okay, I can use this for this custom I want to do in the future. So I kind of try to file it away in my brain cabinets. So that's been really fun, just being able to be challenged and being able to learn new things and be like, how can I solve this problem? And like, to be able to get something to look how I like want it to look in my brain. Because a lot of the times I will like get a piece and like, oh, here's the colors I want to use. How can I like work that out to something I feel confident in? So that's been really fun.
Well, I'm gonna have you do some promotional material for me real quick, because Jacob Forna is asking, got a question about the studio. Is it exclusive to figure parts, or do some people come in and talk, dio make, painting, and such? And Mira, you've been in there enough that I'm gonna let you go ahead and answer this one for us.
Oh wow, thank you. Honestly, it's about everything and everything when it comes to customizing. I know some people talk about poppin' and swappin'. We've got a lot of people talking about creating like their own dioramas, which has been really cool. I think Brian, who also did the droids, also did some diorama stuff. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm still
Nope,
getting
you're right.
comfortable. Okay,
No,
awesome.
that's right.
And he makes some really, really cool ones. So it's honestly a great place to see what everybody works on and working. And people will paint custom parts that are 3D parts that they got from like Wolf King, since it's sponsored by Wolf King. But it's honestly any parts that you get. You can paint and show and be like, hey, I tried this new technique. Can I get some feedback on that? So it's a really great place to learn. You can do it's not just figure parts. You can also ask questions about color matching. I just recently did that. I'm trying to find a good color match for the Silverhorn Sentry for a friend, and so that's been fun. So it's honestly just a really open community. You can ask any question. No question is a wrong question, at least something that I found. Unless you start talking about airbrushing. Yeah, get that
That's
out
right.
of there.
Yeah,
So
because airbrushing is witchcraft.
You can ask about airbrushing in there.
no, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's an
So,
inside
okay.
joke.
Yeah.
But I mean, even I think Schmerberger,
Oh
he's
yeah.
typically he'll come in and just hang out and chat, may even read a book or whatever, just kind of hang out there. So yeah, it's really for anything. But yeah, we've got folks working on dios, painting, just like Mira said. If you're interested in the studio, just hit us up. We've got a main customizing studio chat that is just like it's always going. And that's really where people are sharing, finished projects that they've gotten. They're asking questions, about what types of paints people are using, what kind of brushes, all this kind of stuff. And then each Sunday, because that group is too big, you can't start a group call in a group that's over 50 people. So that group is past 50 people. And so each Sunday, we actually start a new group that's just for that particular Sunday. And we make a post in the Cabal. We also talk about it in our main group and say, hey, who's in today? We're starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then we, create that new group and then start up and kind of go from there. But yeah, it really is open to anybody. Anybody that's checked out the Legions chat on Friday nights. I just went to my first one this past Friday after we got done with OffWorld. Very similar to that, just with a lot more people, because there were even some people in that kind of painting and doing stuff. But I would say in the customizing studio, it's most people are doing some form of creating, with a few others that are kind of just hanging out and chatting or whatever. So that's basically what it's about.
Yeah.
Jesse, how are we looking on that giveaway there?
Well, we are at 26 entries. So if anybody has not done so and didn't get what the hashtag was down on the bottom, go ahead and hit hashtag Galaxia in the chat there, and we'll roll this here in shortly.
Yeah, we'll give them a couple more minutes because we got 49 people in the chat, 26 entered. So yeah, throw in that hashtag and we'll go from there. So Mira, while we do that, let's start pulling up some of these other ones real quick because you sent us.
Do I get to talk about that one at all?
What's that?
Do I get to talk about that one at all?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
sure. I love the Lost in Space vibe you were going for with this. That show is cool. I really love the design of the robot in that. So when I saw you paint this up, I knew exactly what you were going for here. I don't know if you had the picture with it, but it was like, oh, that looks like Lost in Space. And that's a really fun show. We can circle back to this later. I know Curtis,
yeah.
I don't think he's watched it yet, but you were talking about
Three
Body
I love it.
Problem. And you have watched Three Body Problem?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
yes,
so we'll geek out about that a little bit
Okay.
after we go through this stuff. Okay, because I really need to talk about that show with somebody.
Oh, 100%. It's so. Oh, I can't wait to talk about it because it's so. I just finished it like this last weekend with I watched it with my mom and dad, and I'm gonna start reading the books and stuff. I have some cool fun facts and information about it, so I can't wait to start talk about it with
Very
guys.
cool.
So,
but I love these
cool.
mashups you're doing with your crossing over between the cosmic and mythic. I think that's really cool and really fun.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's been so fun. So fun.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now,
Cool.
All right, so let's pull up a couple of these photos because you sent us quite a few
Oh
photos.
yeah,
So,
I said we don't have to go through all of them, or we could just
no,
blast
no,
through them real quick. So.
it's fine. I kind of some of them I grouped together, so you'll see as we go through. Some of them are kind of grouped together, but if you want to kind of talk to us a little bit about this one,
I have her right here with me too. She's with me. Her name, I think I decided to call her Vetil, which means like lonely soldier or lonely winter. I don't 100% remember, but I thought it was really cool. I'm still working out her backstory, but I love like Lady Avarona's like body is something that is so versatile. You can use it for so many different things. And burgundy, I know I'm wearing like burgundy right now, but like kind of repping the vibe, but it's honestly my favorite color, and I love the combo of like those bone wings with it. And I think the cape was really kindly gifted by I think it's Keon. I don't know if that's the right name to pronounce it,
Keon
but
Farley?
Yes, Farley. Yes, Keon Farley. He gifted me that cape, and it honestly works with her so well. And the head was from Kevin Olson. And it was really super fun to. Kevin Olson has some amazing droid heads, like 99%. I think all of my droid heads are from him, and my dad picked them up from Legion's Con last year because he went to his first Legion's Con last year, and I'm so excited to go this year. And anyway, her name is Vatil. She is this warrior angel. I think it would be really cool. I have a couple of different variations of her, but she started out as like this cosmic lady who was a warrior and also bounty hunter who worked with Callum, who's this guy. And they worked together. Yeah, I love like this.
We're gonna see some close-ups of him in a second.
And yeah, he's one of Brian Burke's sculpts that I'm so happy I got the opportunity to paint it because it was so fun. But I was thinking it was cool if they would work on a team, but then she was sucked into a portal into the like mythic world and had to learn to survive and started working with this with the goddess of machines, Lady Marcina, who's actually based off of there's actually a patron saint in Catholicism for robotics, and that's her name. And so I think it would be cool if she made a pact with her and then became a fallen angel because of corrupted knowledge or something in relation to that. So it's just so cool. Like there's so much that you can do within the world, and it really gets those creative gears turning. So. And I love skeletons, I love droids, and I love knights and all sorts of cool stuff. So there's endless possibilities for creativity. And I just took this outside at my house. So,
folks in the chat, if you haven't spent much time with Mira, this is Mira, and this is how excited she gets. And just, I love the backstories. I love the playing with parts. I saw this comment here from Jen said, passing on this head because I don't have any cosmic. But that doesn't stop Mira. Like, look at this. Like, it's pretty much all mythic parts and a cosmic head. But you mix a lot of cosmic and mythic together. You just parts are parts. And you're not. Yeah, you don't get too concerned with it. But I love that not only the use of parts, but the the thought process on the backstory and how they relate to other characters and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, really cool.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Jesse, you still with us, Jesse?
Oh no.
No, Jesse. Hello.
I don't know.
Okay. I want to give you time to talk because I cut you off earlier, but then okay. Hey, he's got nothing. All right, folks, we're moving on.
Oh, the Treebeard one. Oh, that's so cool. I don't have Sir Antikythera with me, but is Jesse okay? Is he gone?
I think he's leaving and coming back. I think he had lag.
Okay. It do be like that. It do be like that sometimes. But this is Sir Antikythera. My dad painted up the pieces. I believe that head is like one of the birch. It's birch bird, something. It's really cool.
Von Burke, or
no, it's by Anthony Hosiel, but it's like birch.
Okay, it's Hosiel.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
I think we've got a close up of that one coming up. So
we'll see cool. Then we'll see it more. But this character is Sir Antikythera. My dad actually painted him up. So
welcome back, Jesse.
Everything okay?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, if if you need me to like repeat anything or like give any more information, I'm
No,
happy
you keep
to.
going.
Okay.
You
well,
keep
if there's any picture that Jesse's going to comment on, this has got to be one of them. I mean,
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
just knowing Jesse's Lord of the Rings background, I'm sure he's got something to
love
say
Lord
on
of the
this.
Rings. Yeah.
I mean, I can't really see the figure that well, but it looks cool. And that just shows you how big Treebeard is. That is an
He's
amazing
huge.
figure. I am so mad at myself for getting rid of mine years ago, but yeah, I'll track one down eventually again. But yeah, this is cool. Again,
Yeah.
outside, it's flock characters with giant tree man. I mean, come on, what's not to love about
Yeah. Absolutely. And I got him like many years ago at a convention with my dad. I can't find. There's some tree pieces that fall out, so they're in my house somewhere, but it's hard to, like, it's sad that they didn't kind of fuse them all together. So, but I love the Ents are my favorite characters in Lord of the Rings. Of course, I love the hobbits, but like giant, like magical tree people who are just vibing, and although they kind of have the slow like this, but it also means that they take their time when they're living and exist. Oh no, is everything okay? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesse lives across the street from a firehouse, so anytime
Gotcha.
it's like really loud in his background if that happens. So
okay, do be like that sometimes. But I
really
love
do.
the Ents. And I'm so glad that I Treebeard is one of my favorite. He kind of he's in my bedroom and guards the window. And he's so cool. And Sir Antikythera, my dad came up with the name for him, like of the Antikythera mechanism, like the first machine, like computer that was found deep in the ocean. I'm like, that's so cool. That means he can be this giant, like he can be this like robot guy, and he's like mythic vibes, and I just like that combination a lot. And he has all these beautiful like green. I feel like he would fit. I think it's Xylona's flock. I always say Xylonia.
Yep.
I always add an I in there. I don't know why, but Xylona's flock. I feel like he would really fit well with them, and it's such a cool faction. Like all of these cool nature and vibes, and so it's been really fun, and I'm glad that it's something me and my dad can do together. He taught me so much. Like I started doing customizing like when we went to Joe Fest a couple years ago. And they did this they did this customizing class where you got like a Skeletron and you could paint him up. I was like, I want to do a steampunk one. I haven't finished him because that scale is really hard for me. Like the 1/16th, I think. If I remember correctly. But it's harder to get the details. I feel like 1/12 is it's a lot easier, and it's fun to pose them and give them character, and it's been really nice to jump into this hobby and have fun.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like you guys do quite a bit of research too. Like you include a lot of like real world facts and references into the biographies of your characters.
Oh yeah, it's fun. I like to like in my regular like not regular, but like for work and stuff, like I love to do like research for like school and policy. It's just something that, like, oh, this is fun. How can I make this more interesting? And it just kind of flows because it's like, how can I make this cooler? And you kind of go down a research rabbit hole and just makes things more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pull up this next one and then we'll take a look and see where we're at. So this one I think you just got recently, right?
I did. Yeah, they had a loose one on eBay for like less than it was for like 200. It was less than like the 500 that I've seen it go for in box, and so it was low key kind of an impulse, but I really wanted the owls, and my dad has been helping me find good deals for them. He got me Athenius, the brown owl dude, and I was like, and then he's like, hey, I found Bubatros, and now you can have both. And I was like, oh! And so I had to jump on it because I love birds, and owls are like my favorite like creatures. There's something really cool about them, and he has this like such power and also kindness in his like sculpt. I don't know how exactly to put it, but I love his character, and I love like I just love the owls. And the birds, they're just so cool. I want to get the blue jay eventually.
Cyanicus?
Yeah, Cyanicus. I'm like, I knew I was gonna say, but he's so cool. Like I just love birds. There's just something really cool about them. So
I love this
and
photo that you got too. This is really cool. The outdoor
yeah.
shot and just looks kind of like a base of a tree or something. And
Yep.
yeah,
We have a tree stump in my backyard. Like it used to like there used to be like an albino raccoon who lived in there, but the tree started rotting away, so we had to get it out. And it's cool because it has all these cool like divots and like gnarly like bits in it. I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to take some pictures, and so it's been really fun to kind of tinker with photography, get some sun, and like see like you get to play with them together. So it's just been fun getting to connect with the like I know this is cheesy, but like the inner child kind of aspect of that. Like it's been really fun to kind of connect with that as I'm learning more about customizing and creating characters and collecting more, and like being able to have our own like family collection, getting to see all the cool figures my dad has, and we can combine them together and take more pictures. And he's taught me so much about popping and swapping. And there's I saw in the Cabal that there's going to be a couple of pop and swap competitions for this month. Like, oh, that's going to be really, you can only use 3 figures. And I'm like, oh, that's such a cool challenge, because all of it is made of like 6, I think, different characters. And
yeah, this is I believe their 3rd year doing it. And it pretty much every year it's been very popular. And
that's so cool.
I love the fact that it actually gets people into playing with their toys more and doing some of this mixing and matching, because there's a lot of toy lines that you get the box and you open it up and you put it on the shelf and that's it. This is a line that there's a lot more that you can do than that. So yeah, Legion's Lounge guys have done a great job the last 3 years of just really getting people into playing with their toys and seeing what's possible. So
absolutely.
What you were saying about like the inner child, and she's like, I mean, come on, we're all here because of toys. Some people might have different feelings about what that is, and but like at the end of the day, all of us have that inner child that we're still catering to, and like getting the stuff out to play with it. Like last Sunday, that was what I wanted to do, is go out to this park, take some figures out and do some photos out at this park. But I was like, oh man, I was so tired, and I was like, it didn't happen. So hopefully soon I'll be doing it. But yeah, just playing with the stuff. Like, it's cool to collect and have a collection, but like if it's just stuff in boxes, my opinion, that's a totally fine way to do it. But there's something different about getting it in your hand, going outside, getting dirt on your fingers and playing with stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just
and then
really cool.
And trying to like combine different figures and seeing how like, oh, like I love Ahsoka, but I also love like Artemis, and seeing how they would interact together, like kind of like different
How much did Jesse
fandoms.
pay you to say that?
Ahsoka's been my favorite character. Like, I religiously watched the Clone Wars when I was a kid, and I got to meet the actress who played Ahsoka. I'm blanking on her name right now. I'm sorry.
Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah, Ashley Eckstein, and she was so kind. And even like me and my dad religiously, like not religiously, but like we went to Star Wars Celebration like every year, and like when it was in Orlando, because I'm a Florida girl, and so we would go and like as a family and go, and like it was so cool. And we even when me and my twin and both my sisters, we all got to do some photography for her universe when we were younger.
Oh, cool.
So got to do some modeling for her. So like I have a really personal connection. I mean, it was just such a really cool experience to be able to have that connection, and like you also be a part of the fandom and learn more. Like, I love all of the droids, but Ahsoka is just so cool. So it was just a really magical experience. And so yeah, it's just so cool how you can interact with different fandoms, and when you have the toys, you can do as whatever crossover you want and brainstorm it in your brain. So I just think that's something that's also really cool, and it makes it fun,
Yeah, Nate here is saying posing, painting, photographing, popping and swapping, it's all play, and that's a lot of P's. Yeah, I mean it is all it's just a form of playing with your toys. Even just like getting your figures out of the case every once in a while and just taking a little dust brush and just brushing them off and just admiring them, or whatever, like all of this stuff is just forms of play. And some of us prefer, photography. Some of us prefer the popping and swapping. Some of us prefer painting. None of it's wrong. It's just how you choose to play. I love the fact that you and your dad are doing this together and, talking about these lores and the bios and what these characters are looking like. And, it's just, that's all really cool. So
yeah,
that brings me to another question, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Absolutely.
You personally really got into it after MegaCon this year.
Oh, 100%.
You said your dad was at Legion's Con last year. So how was it after he brought stuff home from Legion's Con that you got into? Were you starting to get into it already? Or like just a real quick, how did that whole thing happen?
It's a kind of a long story, a little bit, but like, because my dad was an original Kickstarter backer, so we used to have all of the birds. We had like all of the. I don't remember up to which wave we had. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that, but we had a whole bunch of like almost like basically after they did the Kickstarter, we got the birds, and then we had like the cows. I don't remember when they were released, and then a bunch of like of the characters up and when they started producing like the mythics and Ethereon and stuff. But then there was like a time, as you collect, sometimes you purge and then you think about what you collect next. And so we didn't take them out of the package. We kind of like just, it was a time, so we kind of got rid of that part of the collection. But then once my dad started learning more about like the popping and swapping and stuff, I think this year he's doing like a year of mythics to kind of build his collection back all the way up until, well, not his, it's our collection, but he was the one who got me introduced into it. It's kind of complicated because I always thought the owls were cool when I was younger, but like when you're a kid, you kind of like you're pulled in a lot of different directions, and it's complicated. I'm like, oh, those are cool, but like as you grow older, you learn more about like I didn't even know that you could pop and swap the parts, and so as my dad started collecting them again, it made me more interested in it, but also some other like side things. This is kind of like personal, if you don't mind me sharing it. Like so last year I had a lot of like medical issues and had surgery, and had to do physical therapy to like learn how to write and stuff again. And my previous hobby that I did, which was playing music, was really taxing on my body. And so it was kind of this really frustrating part because I was like, I want to be able to do something creative, but I don't want it to have this tough impact on my body because it's like when you're playing for hours at a time, like it was really painful. And so as I started learning, like my dad had these heads and he had all of these cool like Citadel paints. And I was like, well, why don't I give this a try? We have a table, we have some paints, and we have some old brushes. It wouldn't hurt to just tinker on something and to try to get this creative thing. As I started like okay, I'm good, physical therapy is good, what can I do? So I started drawing again and I started painting. I'm like, this is really fun. And I can sit there for 2 hours and my pain level hasn't increased by a lot. Like it's honestly stayed the same. And so that kind of really got me interested in starting to do customizing and get into that. I'm like, this is something that's really fun. I love, and I can do it creatively, and it's not having this impact on my body because I have a couple of disabilities as being born a micropreemie. So complications of that, life is complicated. We all have different complex lives. And so that kind of really pushed me into like being able to find a hobby that was really fun and not taxing on the body, and I can just embrace it. And also the community has been so incredible in helping, especially just if you have been stuck in this kind of like the last 6 months. I had a really like it was really like frustrating not having a community, but being accepted with just open arms and being able to have that was just a very emotional experience, but also something to be incredibly thankful for. And so having gone through that entire whirlwind and being able, it's like this kind of rebirth sense. And so I'm incredibly thankful for being able to, and I appreciate you guys letting me be vulnerable for that. So as I started learning more about customizing, it's like, and the community, it's like, I want to learn more and do more and be able to be creative. And it's just been something I'm really thankful of, and it kind of fueled this love for this line, because it's a fun hobby I can actively engage in, and the community has been really incredible, and I'm really thankful that me and my dad can do it together. Like this weekend, we did like a little pop and swap workshop to help me get this really cool bird guy on, and so like
nice.
It's been cool. Like it's been really fun for even just from a personal perspective, and also from like a family perspective, that we can have this collection together and share, and it's so from a personal perspective, and it's just been really wonderful, and from a collection perspective, it's been great. So I appreciate you guys letting me share that. And if you need any clarification,
no,
I'm happy.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. They appreciate you sharing that. I know, Jesse and I have both talked about some different things that we've had going on before we got into this line, especially some severe, kind of anxiety issues. And I've talked to folks that aren't in this community, and have heard things like, it's just toys. But it's not just toys. And, I've heard several stories like yours, like mine, like Jesse's, of people that were struggling, that were having issues, whether it's physical or emotional or mental or whatever. And this toy line, this community, these people have helped pull us out of it. It's much more than toys. And so, yeah, I really appreciate you, opening up on that. And, for those folks out there that may be watching this or maybe hearing this, not live, but on replay or whatever, like this community is here for that, and we're available. And, dive in, find what that form of play is for you, and what things help you feel creative and inspired, and dive in, because it really can change your world. So appreciate that.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I'm glad to hear that. Like we've noticed the last couple of years at Legions kind of how more it's becoming more of a family event, and as cool and kind of like, like kind of macho as these toys come across, it's cool seeing such a diversity of, like Legions ladies, coming out doing their thing. It's got such a strong support, and there's such a big community, sub community in that alone. And then, now with families doing this again, I mean, like Curtis and his wife do the art by Ackerman with the capes and like the customizing stuff that they work on, the dio she does. It's just so cool to see that this cool, weird little geeky hobby that we've all stumbled into or intentionally pursued has allowed us to find all this stuff in each other. And I think that's really cool. So yeah.
Absolutely. There's no place like it. I haven't found any community like this, and it's just been so wonderful. The Cabal is incredible. Like if you're not a part of the Cabal on Facebook, you should go join Mythic or or the Cosmic Cabal, because it's incredible. And like shout out to Walter. So,
yeah. Well, there we go. That's another thing too. Like people come in and they'll hear like the Cabal above all, and that's not a look at us, we're better than other toy groups. That's not what that is. It's that this community is more important than any individual person, because we all take care of each other, and we look out for one another. And so I really appreciate those words. That was a great story, and just hopefully a lesson to somebody else out there, that if you are struggling with something, there's folks out in this community that can help you out. So
absolutely, 100%. We're here for you.
Exactly. So with that being said, we are now at 40 entries on this. I think it's going to be time to spin this. We're going to go ahead and do this.
To spin it.
Yep.
All right. Spinning for the Galaxia head.
Just a heads up. You do need to be subscribed to the channel. And once the spin is over, we'll have you reach out to Mira, or you can reach out to us, and we can pass on the information to Mira, and she'll get that sent out to you. So
Monday. I'll have it out Monday. If you reach out to me today, I can have it out tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Well, we got one more entry, so let's roll.
2 more. 3.
There we go. They're coming in late.
2, 1. Spinning away. And if you it'll be one prize per person per show.
Yep.
So if we do another one, Kevin Boots, last week's guest.
Wow.
Very
okay,
nice.
Congrats,
Can't wait to see what kind of photos he does with this.
Yeah.
True that. Yep. Feel free to reach out to me. It's like at The Relentless Optimist on Instagram, or you can do Facebook. It's just Mira Gaitanis on Facebook. So PM me a message, your address, and anything else, and I'll have that out to you as soon as possible. Hopefully Monday if I can. So
beautiful. Yeah, we just had Kevin on last week. He does some amazing photos, a lot of outdoor shots.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I can't wait to see what he does with that. So
it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. And with that being said, before we go to some of your other work, we do have another giveaway. So we'll go ahead and just cue that up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And here we go. Let's talk about this one. What do you got going on here?
Oh yeah, this one was actually really hard. But I don't know, it was really fun actually. It was cool because when we were in the customizing studio a few weeks back, I know Emil was on there and we talked about his video that talked about painting goblins and things like that. And he gave some really helpful advice talking about it. So this one I started out just with the black base as one does. It's my favorite. I know people have their own ways. And then I dry brushed white on it to kind of catch those highlights. And then I had two different greens that I dry brushed on it to kind of get some depth and get those wrinkly bits. And then after that, I did his eyes. His eyes are red. I haven't tried doing the pupils and stuff yet because that's really hard. I'm working on it. I have got some good little brushes and I have some heads to experiment with that on, but I thought it would be cool to give him red eyes and those like gnarly, like yellowy orange teeth. And so I just kind of got a bit of, and I did, majority of this is dry brushing in the eyes and on the teeth. I used orange and yellow, and I kind of mixed some of the colors together, just into how I felt. Like, oh, this looks good, and then I like dry brushed it on the teeth, like did a layer of orange, a layer of yellow, and then kind of dusted it until I'm like, okay, that looks like he hasn't brushed his teeth in like 50 years. And then after that I did a bit of wash, Null Oil. That's like my favorite of like the dark, like kind of, I think it's blackish brown. So I did that. I hit the ears and his little like forehead wrinkles, his eyes and his chin and his teeth to kind of get like a sheen on him to kind of make it look like he had some, maybe he's something, he's sweaty, I don't know. So but I kind of just built it. It was my first time doing something flesh toned, so it was definitely a learning experience. It was fun. I know a lot of folks like goblins, so I hope it'll go home to somebody who will treat him well, or as well as he deserves. No, I'm just kidding.
well let's get a hashtag on this one, and then we'll Jesse and I will throw some comments and questions on this one.
Cool.
Gobbo, hashtag Gobbo Life for your
there you go.
I love that. That's
the
awesome.
giveaway.
Jesse, I'll let you go first. What you got on this one?
I think the details, the highlights, I mean, you did a great job on this. Wow. And you know what? My personal opinion, you don't have to worry about the pupils, because goblins, at least the way the Horseman studios do it, they don't have like the pupils. They're usually just a solid color in there. So nice. It looks like I wouldn't have made any comments on not doing the pupils for the goblin. Cool. But yeah, that's great. The gnarly teeth, like I just imagine, and this guy open his mouth and wanting to, pass out. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's a really cool head and a great paint job. Like all the little pores and stuff, it feels like, that he's just like so filthy. Yeah. That's fantastic work.
Yeah, I mean, as far as this head goes, I think you killed it for first, time doing any sort of flesh tone, because I think, problem that a lot of folks make is just, not having those like shaded areas and like, it's just one solid color and it's just, so you do have that, because you do a lot of dry brushing where it made those highlighted areas pop and it made those darker areas stay dark. So it just looks good all around, especially for a, kind of evil, mean, dirty goblin. Like he looks angry, and he's got all these like recessed, dark, dirty spots on him.
Yeah.
And then his teeth, another thing, a lot of folks will, kind of do just like one solid color, maybe do a wash. I like that you have some gradient in there in that teeth. And yeah, it looks really cool. As far as like starting to work on pupils and stuff, my one, I guess, piece of advice would be, make sure that you have a good sized palette to start with. There's some sculpts out there that have super tiny eyes.
Yeah.
Or, Jesse and I know we've worked on some where it's like a helmet that's got an opening, and then the eyes are like recessed inside the helmet, and it makes it very difficult to get to. I would get something with some big eyes. The first thing comes to mind is the Jesslins at Wolf King that are named after Jesse. They have really big eyes. And normally, because those are kind of taken off of like the Fuzz Monks, and normally they don't have pupils either. But that would be a really good one to start with, because they've got these big giant eyes, and it would give you enough space to kind of practice working on that. So, yeah,
cool.
Jesse's actually showing one there, which we will blow him up. So
I
yeah,
did pupils. So cool. I did solid black eyes on these guys, just because I wanted them to have that kind of mouse, look.
I love that. That looks so good.
That is a big enough canvas where if you wanted to paint pupils, that would be a good one to start with.
True. I'll have to get some next time I do an order. So I'll definitely keep those in mind.
Curtis did some with eyes, and I think Van shared some today in the customizing community.
Oh, where he's got there was like some
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those were awesome.
Cool, yeah. But yeah, this turned out fantastic. So appreciate you walking us through how you did that too.
Absolutely, I'm happy to. It's fun. It's fun to be able to walk through. A lot of it is just practicing and tinkering and falling down the YouTube rabbit hole.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's pull up the next piece that we've got from you. Is this one here? You want to talk to us a little bit about what you got going on there?
Sure. This is actually in the Smuggler's Cove, because it was kind of this not built out kind of place. So it's kind of like, I was like, oh, this would be a really cool place to do some photography for some cosmics. It's got some like gnarly vibes. And that one in the back, that's the Vatil head, but it's also the Ziri body. It's like all the rest is, so the head is just what I painted. So I love the grays together. And then the guy on the right, that skull head, is from Wolf King. Oh, I love that head. Was so fun to paint. It was cool because I did the color shift part on the top of the skull, and then like the face is like this brassy gold. And then my dad actually gave the advice to do the teeth at that silvery color, and then I kind of added on those little bolts on his head, some hints of like coppery color. And it's cool. I think I'm gonna name him Ozymandias. Like based off of that poem, like I am Ozymandias. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Like there's something really powerful about. Like I love that poem. I first found out about it in the Alien. I think Prometheus. It was in Prometheus or Covenant. One of those two Alien movies with David. He's such a cool android. I love androids, and he's just I had a fascination with him for a while and his character, and so I kind of fell down a couple of research rabbit holes. But I'm working on him. I think I'm actually deciding that I'm gonna do him on I got a really awesome torso body from I think Peter. And it's this it's like a skeleton torso, but I've painted it with gold and that same color. So it's kind of going to be more like a cosmic. Let me see if I can find. I don't know if I sent a picture of it. So it might show up.
It might be coming up. Yeah.
So it might be coming up.
I think we got like 15 Gorbillion photos to get through. So
I'll make sure I don't talk too much. But I thought it would be cool. I love the cosmics, and I'm like, this kind of gives that cosmic vibe. And so I thought it would be cool if part of the way Vatil falls into evil is by working with Ozymandias to do his evil work. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
We do have a couple super chats. This one from Van 199. Can we see Tom riding a giggling goat, please? Wrong show. I'm sure Purple Gang could get that for you. Maybe Jesse will shoot you a PM, but probably not going to happen today. And then we had one from Rob Zamora, $4.99. But in all honesty, we're better than other toy communities. Yeah, I effing said it. Well, I'm glad you said it because I wasn't gonna say it. So there you go.
And Van, I can't provide you a video of Tom riding a giggling goat because the goat doesn't giggle. The giggle is me. The goat sings a Christmas song.
That's true. Let's go to this next one. So this is another one where you're kind of mixing, that the robot heads with some mythic parts. So tell us what you got going on here.
Absolutely. I loved this. This was another Kevin Olsen head. If you need a droid head, he has some really cool stuff. Like, his work is awesome. So this head was originally giving Cybermen, but I was like, well, I feel like that's too easy. So I want to try something different, do a complete opposite color scheme to Cybermen and see if I can try that out there. And so I gave him blue eyes and did some brassy tones. And I got the Gold Knight in my ISS order, so I was like, oh, let's see if they fit together. I'm like, yeah, it looks like his head has been through some stuff, but it's definitely, I like it. I like that combination a lot. I got the gold wings, so I replaced the brown ones with gold, but his name is Kalos. He's the angel of knowledge, and he works with, he basically is like the right hand of Lady Marcina, who is like the goddess of robotics. And so I thought it would be cool if in this like world that I'm kind of building, I don't know exactly how it fits within the Mythics universe, but I think it would be cool if there was like some portal connections. But he is in charge of protecting the Library of Alexandria in the sky, because there's these people in the sea who are trying to engulf it and burn it and steal all of that knowledge. But he works with all of like my other characters, like the Parliament Alliance, who are all the bird folks, and Olivin and some of the other people, to protect the library, protect the sacred knowledge. And so I thought it would be really cool for him to have some divine connections, and that's why also he's the background. I decided to choose the Dune books, and I'm trying to think. Oh, and the Foundation trilogy I think is back there. Gotta love me some Isaac Asimov. So I thought it would be cool to have the bookshelf. I'm so thankful because my dad has this awesome sci-fi collection, and I've been reading like Frank Herbert since like middle school. And so I grew up on sci-fi, and like me and my dad watched Star Trek together, and all of like Doctor Who. We started out with the Ninth Doctor, and so like I just love science and all this nerdy stuff, and I love combining cosmic and mythic stuff. It's just so cool how old and new can come together. Like steampunk's one of my favorite like subgenres of like vibes, and so I thought it would be cool to kind of channel that with the gold and brassy undertones of Kalos. I don't know if I'm pronounced. Some of these are old. They're older names. They're Greek, and I don't know if they're 100% pronounced correctly. But this is how I feel that their energy is in my mind. So
I love that story. It actually it kind of reminds me of who's the droid on Ahsoka, the Huyang?
Oh,
is that it?
Yeah.
Who's kind of has all that.
Tennant.
Yeah, where he has like all that knowledge of like the lightsabers and Jedi and stuff. So like that keeper of knowledge that's kind of also, robotic, and like it kind of has that feel to it. And then, just the gold that you've put in with the weapons, as well as the gold body there, and then the head. I really feel this, and I love your stories. It really helps to bring these characters to life.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Jesse?
I saw I forget who said it. Where'd it go? Someone compared your stuff to the comic book Saga. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Saga.
No, I haven't read it, but I love the character designs. I think there's a guy with like a robot head in it.
Yes, there's a whole race. His name's Prince Robot, and he's got like a TV for a head, and they show like emotions and things they're thinking on their screens. It's definitely a mature audience's content book.
Absolutely.
But it's yes. Fiona Staples' artwork in that is amazing, and I was trying to think. I'm like, man, some of these are like dinging certain bells, and as soon as whoever said that said Saga, I was like, oh, yep, for sure.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
I think my dad actually has a copy of Saga, so I'll definitely have to give it a read. I love, I'm not I've read parts of Sandman. I'm still working on getting to it because it's a behemoth. But
yes.
Neil Gaiman's work is incredible, and so I am definitely not afraid of those kind of it's important to be able to face that and see it and understand it. But if it's not your thing, it's cool to also take a break and take away. But I love creative characters. I love object heads in general. I feel like there's something really cool and charming about them. So yeah.
Well, before we move on to the next one, this is what Jesse was talking about, the ones that I painted on these Jesslins. So this is Thom, and those are the pupils that I painted on him.
Did you say Thom?
I did.
You're not being very purple right now either.
I am not. So yeah, they've just got really big eyes, and like Jesse said, you don't have to paint them in because the fuzz monks don't have pupils. But it's a nice one to just kind of play with and practice and try some new things. That's the rest of my Facebook. So
I love the colors, the way that there's that yellow and the red, there's 2 rings, so it's creates this kind of great gradient effect. Yeah. I really love that. That's definitely something I want to tinker with more. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem. And it's one of those where it actually kind of, I think, gets easier than when you do start working on the smaller eyes, because you have a little bit more play in it. The bigger ones, you've got more canvas, but everything is very clear. So if you make a mistake, it's very noticeable, but it at least lets you kind of play with it. But then if you kind of get the big ones down and then you go into the smaller ones, even if you make a little tiny mistake, it's so small that it's barely or not at all noticeable. So, but let's go. First, let's see where we're at on this giveaway. It looks like we got 48 out of 64.
Oh, wow.
We'll look
at another picture or so.
Yeah, because that's the last giveaway. So we'll take a look at a couple more. And I know we want to get to Lost in Space too. So I'll try to roll through a few of these. But let's see.
And Third Body Problem.
This is the same one, right? This is just a different shot.
Just a different angle. I did it on my fire. We have a fireplace downstairs that has some rock accents on it. I'm like, oh, I wonder how that would look. And I wanted to try to get different lighting. This is Sir Antikithra.
This is the one that you were talking about before, right? That was with the tree beard. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a good close-up piece. It's pieces from these Xylerian Guard. Waltor, the mythic one, has those green gauntlets. I think the cape is Joseph Connor's, if I remember correctly. I love that it has that little part on the neck part. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like a shawl almost. Because it's not just the cape part. It's so cool, and I love that it kind of matches the tabard vibes. And then my dad painted the head and the sword.
Where'd that sword come from?
I'm trying to remember. I think it's Anthony. I think it's also from Anthony Hosio. But if
Toy Forge, yeah.
Okay,
Forge,
yeah,
yes,
cool.
yes.
It looks like it's got runes or something in it. So
yeah, I love that. I thought it was so cool.
And then you got this shot here.
Yeah.
I love it. My dad got the Ahsoka figure. I'm like, I have to go take pictures. And I'm like, yoink. And so,
So is this that tree stump, or what is this on here?
This is also that same tree stump, just a different angle. It's got some kind of brambles in it. And so I found a little corner, and it's nice because it's thick enough that you can fit the figure on it. And
it's cool because it kind of looks like a bridge. I like the way that it actually looks in this scale.
I was super proud of getting that kind of that energy, and where you could see Ahsoka and Artemis are kind of meeting for the first time. They're like, oh, what's happening? And so I just thought, and I'm really proud that I kind of got that pull focus, the rack focus onto Ahsoka. And it was really, I did it a couple of different times to kind of get it right where I wanted to. And I don't know, it's just fun taking pictures in nature. So I love it. And this is Maggie's Artemis Silvercord, and we share, and I love her little wings. I hope we get some more fairy-like characters in the future. But it's also cool because you can steal the Spexian guard wings and pop them on other dudes. And so, yeah, it's just, I love her vibes. And I can't wait to learn more and read the books that are going to be coming out. So, and the comic book, I need to read the comic book too. The book and then the comic. So.
Well, Jesse, I can't go to the next slide without you talking about an Ahsoka shot. So.
I mean, and Artemis is up there for one of my favorite mythics too. So just seeing the two of those, like, you know, I like immediately, like, I'm like Clone Wars music is playing, but like there's a little bit of a like medieval element to it. And you know, it's one of those things where Ahsoka's on a mission and maybe it's not quite what she thought it was, so it becomes more diplomatic, but it started off as a confrontation. Yeah, I think, you know, and then these two would end up being like allies or something down the road.
Oh, 100%.
And
yeah, I mean,
it's the best lightsabers for her.
Yeah.
Prior to Rebels, I'm sorry, when they switched her lightsabers to blue in that last season, I was so mad.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just missing a gambit. I think this would be a really just perfect shot. So, here's another cool one outside.
Oh, I love it. So this is Gregory Schmerberger. So sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong, but this was like my first kind of try at doing a first like official like custom like full body. So and also commission, but it was cool. It was really cool. Like ended up working out super well, and the head is from Kevin Olson. It's cool because it's kind of, I think somebody said it kind of looks like a CD player. I think it kind of gives that. Her name is Edith Daifa, and she's like a nautical engineer, and her dad was in charge of this ship that like investigated the sea, and she was built to basically research all of these different sea creatures and build defenses on the ship, like biological defenses, to be able to fight King Cephalopod. I don't remember what his name. It's like Cephalius, but I don't like his name. I'm still working on trying to get it. But he's like this cool like cephalopod guy that my dad painted for my younger sister. Painted the body part. The head sculpt came from, I think, the Zombie 13. Cause I'm totally blanking on the name of the, but it was on Instagram. We were trying to figure out who painted the head. But anyway, she is like she works with Atlantis, and she's like this AI robot. But she's more than that. She's like the daughter of this very famous artificer, and Alexander Daifa. And so I thought the engineer body would be perfect for something steampunk. I know like steampunk is kind of a rolling theme.
Quick question. So like the arms and the legs and stuff like that, did you repaint those, or are those pop and swapped from? So they look kind of like the Ziri a little bit as well. But is that just okay?
Yep, the arms and legs are popped and swapped. Like, they're already brown, so so it might be good to use what's out there.
Right.
And so I color matched, or at least tried to as best as I could, the harness part and the belt.
Yeah, it looks spot on.
Awesome, thank you. And I thought it would be cool to add some blue elements. I'm really proud of getting the gold accents, and it also looks kind of rusty. So and getting the kind of the glowy effect on that orb part, I thought that was so fun because I used like 2 different blues or 3 different blues, and so yeah, and the cape is just so cool. I love wired capes. There's so much you can do with the energy. It kind of looks like she's floating. It has this like ethereal aspect, and I actually, the really interesting about this head is that I actually didn't prime it black. I primed it brown, and then dry brushed the metallic kind of. I didn't like it at first. At first, I was like, oh, I don't think it fits. But as I worked on it and honed on it some more, and got like a couple of silvers and some brassy elements, and kind of dry brushed and kind of tinkered it with it some more. It's like, oh, this is actually looking really good. I like it. So kind of sometimes you have to fiddle with it before you get comfortable with it. And I was really proud with the sides on the little indents on the side. They have that same blue tint as that frame of her face. So I thought that was
it's
really cool.
It's like cleaning your garage. Like it's got to get messier before it can get pretty.
So. Oh, 100%. Oh, that's so true. That's such a great analogy. Yeah. So, but now she's.
And there's a close up of that same one, right?
Yes. Yep. That's a close up of that same one too. And it
does look like a CD player head.
Yeah, it does.
Let's say that.
So it's got some blue elements on there, and there's a frame. So I love it. It's really great. This one is in that same spot as those other guys. So that
Yeah, I
was
love that
cool.
paint job on the torso. Like
Oh,
the
thank
not
you.
only the main, like the brown and golds, but also the blue really pops on the inside of the collar and then on that the chest plug. So
yeah,
I really appreciate it.
The color scheme on this is great because you just got that solid black base and the brown, it's just like good accents. And then all the color, the golds, the metallics, the blues that Curtis was just mentioning. Yeah, that's just it really pops. Really nice job.
Thank you.
Beauty.
I went through like 3 different color schemes. It was originally going to be like orange and navy, and then I was going to do like navy and orange, or like trying to, so like there was, but I was like, oh, I don't want to paint the joints, so how can I get this to work in a way that looks cool? And so it was a lot of tinkering and experimenting, and I'm really like, she turned out even better than the sketches that I did. So it was really, really good.
Awesome. Well, we've got 51 entries here for that goblin head. It's hashtag Gobble Life. We're going to spin this in about 5 seconds. So if you haven't put that in yet, you've got that much time to get it in, and now it's done and it's rolling.
I mean, that was 5 seconds. Well, it was 5 seconds in my head. I don't know if that was an accurate 5 seconds.
It's good. It's all good. DK Blau. So there you go. Reach out to the Relentless Optimist on Instagram or Mira on Facebook, and she'll get that set up for you.
It's totally fine.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. What do we got? So this one, I think there's going to be a few of these with the Sphexian wings on here, and it's got like the bone arms and legs and stuff. So tell us what's going on with this one.
Absolutely. If you don't mind, I'm also gonna like slightly readjust so I can connect to a charger, because I thought my iPad was good, but it's about 10%. So I'm gonna make sure.
Fine.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I think we've got a few of these, so I might just flip through a couple of them real quick, and then we'll be back with you.
Oh, no worries. I'm right. I have the charger right here, so I had it right next to me. So I'm just plugging. Yeah.
Oh, you're good. Okay. You're good. I think I had it out of order anyways, because I think the other ones come later. So cool. We'll actually get to this one in a second. We'll move on to this one, which looks like you've got a Ziri head on the Averona body with those wings.
Yep, this is the same, and I'm all plugged in now, so we're all set. It's charging, so it should be good now. So this one is basically the same setup that I had for the Vetio one, because I did a couple of different iterations before, like deciding on like, oh, I want the robot head on that one. And so this one has, it's like, I love combining mythic and cosmic parts, and so this one has the Ziri Inspire head, and then the bone wings, and then all those parts are Lady Averona. I think, no, she doesn't have the pauldrons on for that one. So and I don't remember who the spear came with, unfortunately. But
I'm not sure.
I'm totally blanking. But if anybody needs that information, I can find it. I can find it. But I don't remember off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Jesse, any idea on the spear?
Looks, I don't know. Is that one that came with the Furious 4-pack? One of those, because it looks like it's a darker shaft with the silver head, or
I think it's like it's got silver, and then it's like a dark, it's not black, but it's like this irony metal color.
Yeah,
so it might be
it's is it?
Yeah, Alberto saying it's a halberd.
Maybe it is. Well, halberd, I'm still learning the names of all the different.
Like maybe modified it, maybe because it usually has that extra piece on there that I
was gonna say the halberds usually have the bottom.
Yeah.
Spike at the bottom. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'll have to go look and see.
Let's pop over to this one.
Oh yeah,
I'm wearing the same as well, right?
Yeah, I'm wearing that same cardigan actually.
Nice.
So this one is the blue Hagnon. And I stole the sword. My dad had like this, I don't remember the name, but it's like a red skeleton guy. And he came with this like really dirty, grimy sword. And I was like, oh, that would look really good with Hagnon. So instead of using the other bony sword. I was like, oh, I kind of want this one. So I just added that to him, and it's I was really excited. I got this one at the Forgotten Toy Box when he was released, and it was just really exciting to be able to like kind of ride the hype train with everybody as he was released, like as he released, and it was just so cool. And he glows
Jen says it
blue.
looks like you're sipping from the sword tip like it's a straw.
Oh,
So there you go.
that's so funny. You gotta channel that, that spooky life force, I'm siphoning his life force. No, just kidding.
I have not opened my blue Hagnon yet. What were your thoughts on the figure?
I really liked him a lot.
Yeah.
I love skeletons. They're just so cool. But I thought it was really cool that he had that knight head, and it was really hard for me to decide which one. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the skull one because my dad's displaying his with his knight head. So I was like, oh, I might as well display him a bit different. And
Yeah.
so I know people talked about him being a little bit smelly as you open up, but it's it's just this kind of plasticky smell. It's not really that bad. I know people are like, oh, it's so terrible, and like no harm, no foul. People have their own preferences and vibes, but I honestly didn't get that from it. I think it's so cool that he's like transparent. I think he would be really great for customized. I'm keeping mine as is because I just think he's so awesome. But like the bones would be really cool to be able to do, like if you wanted to do an ice character, or if you wanted to do, I really want to do like a fossilized angel custom eventually. And I feel like doing transparent like limbs or could be really cool.
I don't know who did it this week, but I saw one that had like the Arazak head on it and had some other pop and swap with the blue Hagnon armor. And it looked like this like ice wizard. It was really cool. So yeah, there's definitely some neat options with mixing and matching these parts with something else. So
absolutely. I might have to get another one eventually just for bits and pieces to be able to tinker with. But like he's just so cool. And I know I hope this isn't terrible to say. I honestly prefer him to the green Hagnon. I think there's like a certain charm to him that makes him like ghostly, and the glow effect is really cool. And I like the blue. I think it makes him kind of feel like he could almost be a good guy.
I like that the blue kind of stands out even when it's not dark. Like,
true.
Yeah.
So I love that. Of course, OG Hagnon has his own charm and he's super cool. But I don't know. There's some magical majesty to the blue Hagnon. So he's, and Ligier is really cool too. I don't have pictures of him, but my twin I think got him. And he's super cool. I love his armor and the accent. There's so much you can do, and he's also great for. I know some people have done some customs of him with Monkey King and kind of combining pieces. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So lots of
I've seen a lot of people like putting different heads on that Ligier and making like this army of them to where you got one with the orc head and one with the Ligier head and one with where they're putting helmets and stuff on them. So yeah, that is kind of cool to build that out, especially based on the bio. And I'm still kind of trying to get through these so we can get to our Lost in Space discussion. But we've got a few here we've got to hit because like this is really cool. I love the magic effects, and not only that, but like you got the little skulls and the like flowers there and stuff. Like what's going on here?
So I'm trying to remember. I think I named her after like Wolfsbane flower. I'm totally relate. Like it's like based off of like the scientific name of it. It starts with like an A. But she's like a robot droid lady. I was honestly just trying to see. I was tinkering and I painted this head. And I originally was gonna put it on an engineer body that I painted like the hands and chest piece and the belt silver and like added some accents, red accents, but I popped her on Lady Averona's body, and I was like, "Oh, the reds actually match. That's so crazy!" And so, I thought it would be cool if she is like evil and like maybe works with like Necrominus in some capacity, but was like sent by like a bone god from another universe or something. I don't know. I'm still working. I don't really have her backstory 100% ironed out, but I love the robot head looks really good on the body, and I wanted to tinker with the magic effects because my dad got a box of them. I'm like, oh, I want to try these, see how these look on this, And the skulls, one's from Ilgar and one's from another skeleton. I'm totally blanking on the others. I think it's like one of the Legion builder skeleton groups. And we just had a bunch of flowers and stuff. I'm like, oh, these berries are like the same red color, so I'm just gonna tinker and see. And it was just some experimenting with some photography and stuff, and it was fun.
The ground, like what you've got laid out, it has a very Day of the Dead kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really digging it. So
I super appreciate that. It was so fun to experiment, and I honestly tried some new things. I did a red wash and the Nuln oil on the head. I'm still working on getting it exactly how I want, because on the sides I haven't accented the little like scribblies. I don't know how to exactly, but on the to be red, they still kind of are black, but I want them to have like a kind of glowy red effect. So, but she's solid where she is right now, but I might go back and revisit and add some more techniques as I learn more.
Jesse?
I like seeing the spell effect on that elven axe. I think that's a cool look. Definitely not something that crossed my mind, but I think that looks really sweet. And I like that you're using plant names, because most of my fuzz monks are named after plants or their scientific names. Awesome. So I had to look up wolfsbane, and it's Acontium napellus.
Yes. Yep.
Is the scientific name for wolfsbane. So that's really cool.
Very nice. And this was another shot of that.
Yeah, I love the elf shields.
I wanted to show these drawings.
Oh, yeah.
These are really cool. So
thank you. Yeah, this is the fossilized angel custom sketch. I just found a place that sells the crystals, and so I'm gonna save up and get those. And I have never painted with inks before, so I'm gonna have to try to tinker to get the color that I want. I have no idea what arms I want to use for her. I think I have found a head I want to use, but she's based off of a character named Ego. And all of her arms and her like bones are supposed to be connected to kintsugi, where like if something is broken, you can repair it with gold. I think it's like a Japanese thing where you get a bowl and it's broken and you connect it together with gold. And I want her to kind of be like that, because I feel like as you grow up and become become a human being, you're constantly being broken and becoming a new person and learning more about what it means to be a human being. And I wanted her design to really encapsulate like there is beauty within pain and within suffering and becoming a new person and becoming who you feel like you're destined to be. And so she's a character in another story that I'm writing, but I thought it would be so cool to kind of like mythicify her. And so it was really cool. Like I was like, oh, the bone wings would be cool, and I was just tinkering with a bunch of different ideas.
So is this something that you do often, like before you make a custom, that you do this drawing, or is this something separate that just happens to be this character you're gonna also do as a action figure?
I typically like to draw like how I want the figure to look like, especially if I'm doing like a full custom. But as I learn, I'm like, okay, joints are a pain in the neck to paint, and I don't want to have to deal with paint chipping. So sometimes I have to adjust and relearn. But I definitely love to sketch before I go. But a lot of the times, if it's just a head, I'll like, okay, I'll think about what colors I want, and then I'll experiment. But with that other robot head, that one with the pointy spikes on it, I took a picture and I colored on top of it in Procreate, and then I found the closest colors to paint it. So it really just depends on how I feel. But for most of the time, if it's a full-on custom, I like to draw it out before I start tackling.
Jesse, any thoughts on this one? I got another drawing right after this.
I love the concept of the kintsugi as the basis for this, and that whole story and everything is really cool. Really like names and meanings, and when characters have depth behind them and everything. So that's really cool, and I can't wait to see you bring this character to life in a custom.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I'm still trying to figure out what parts I want to use, but I'm learning, and I'm learning what's out there. So
we got a $4.99 super chat from Mira. Says early morning catch, the rest in replay. Great show tonight. Loving the energy, Mira. Even if you called us old with our Battle Beast and DS references, which I don't think is exactly what you said, but yes. So we've got this one too, which I know you already kind of talked about your like of the owls. So tell us what you got going on here.
I really want to do 2 different barn owl customs. This one's based off of there's a hyperpigmented barn owl that basically looks like they're purple.
Mm,
And I love like the color. I love like creatures and animals and trying to think about it. And I know like the birds are really hard to find, but and some people have made some 3D pieces. I think Planetary Dog Toys might have arms and legs, but I
mm,
eventually really, really want to do like a full barn owl custom. I'd have to get the like either sculpt the head or commission somebody to sculpt the head. So I'm still thinking about that. It's probably going to be more in the future once I have the capacity to think and tinker and ask some help to sculpt some things. But I like to like sometimes an idea will pop into my brain. I'm like, oh, I don't want to forget it, so I need to at least get the bare bones sketches out there. And so I used Athenius's body as a example to do the sketch, and I thought it would be really cool. Like there's like an eclipse symbol on the armor, and the wings actually have armor on it, and I thought
mm.
that would be really cool to have accents on that. And so this is like I don't have names for these characters yet. I just wanted to get their ideas on paper before I forgot them. So I have a whole
Gotcha.
folder of just designs that I want to work on, and some people, so I know some are going to take a lot more time and energy. So, but it's nice to be able to have an organization system of knowing what I want to work on next.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jesse?
That's really. I had to pull up the hyperpigmented owl because I've seen other animals. I've seen like the almost all black fox with like the slight orange tint. So I
Yeah.
hadn't seen the barn owl, and I just looked it up, and that is a really cool looking creature. And yeah, you're totally capturing that vibe here. And yeah, I want to see this happen.
Thank
That's
you. I'm
awesome.
so excited. I'm
I
still
love all the
thinking
little
about
details, like the astronomical signs and stuff, like the little moons and
Especially with
stars
the
and stuff.
eclipse tomorrow,
There you
yeah.
go.
the stars
Oh,
are literally
absolutely.
aligning for this to happen, right?
There
Oh,
you go.
100%. 100%.
Um, this is the one I think we saw this earlier. That's the one on the
Yeah.
Ziri bodies. It's just a different. It's inside. And
And this
then
is the first build of Oliven before he, grew up and gained his wings.
before he got his wings, which we're going to look
Yeah.
at here in a second. Here's just a couple figures that you had posed outside.
Yep,
Um,
yep. And this is a picture of everything I've worked on over the last well, almost everything. There's a skull missing from that I worked with Mike Swistack. He has some
mhm.
really, really cool pieces. And I painted up a skull. It's on my fridge. But it's like a metallic gold skull with like green glowing eyes.
Ooh.
It's super cool. I
And then
love pieces.
we've got a
So
couple close-ups out of a few of these. There's these other
yeah,
pieces here, and then I
sure.
think this is that torso right on the right
Yes,
side
yeah.
that you were talking
Yeah,
about
that's
with the
yep.
bone torso,
So
and then we've got this guy, which I know you tried to show us earlier. So now you want
mhm.
to talk a little bit about what we got going on with this guy?
Yeah, no worries. His name is Callum. I'm totally blanking on his last name. I know I wrote it somewhere, but I love the Brian Burke skull.
Mhm.
Sculpt, the alien sculpt guy was really cool. I thought of a bunch of different ways to do the eyes, but I decided doing that metallic purple would look cool. It gives him gives him a kind of soul, you know? And so,
Mhm.
and I was really proud of getting to do that gradient from that blue to that green on his head. Like that was really cool. It was tricky, but it was really fun. And he's basically he's like a really good with weapons, but he's also
Mhm.
really good at like delegation, being able to talk with people. So he's really like a good diplomat. So um I don't know. I'm still working out his story, but he works with some bounty
I
hunters.
think we
So
have,
yeah.
yeah, here
Oh
we got
yeah,
a
that's a
close-up of
close
his
up of that.
head.
I was
Oh,
so
Yeah.
proud of
nice.
how the eyes turned out. So and it was black, prime black dry brush, white, and then I hit it with like two different greens and two different blues, and then the eyes I did silver first, and then on top of it I did that metallic purple, so I could kind of get that blue purple shifting
Very nice.
into them. So it was really fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. I don't know that I've seen that sculpt. That's awesome though.
Yeah, I think it was gifted, I think, by Steve Callahan, I think, and it
Okay.
was really cool. Like I'm not sure if it. I know Brian Burke does Von Box with Emil, and sometimes
Mhm.
there's some limited edition heads that come in, so it could come from that. If you're and they have an option for painted heads and
Mhm.
also unpainted heads. So if
Right.
and I think it's like maybe a couple a month. So if that's something, even as a new customizer, you're interested to, I definitely recommend. Once I can, I definitely want to hop on that train. But there's so many, like, his work is so awesome. I definitely recommend checking it out. And
yeah, make sure that you bring that up next time we're in the studio and Emil's in there, because I like to make fun of him about the Bond box, and just really critique their business model about how you put these things out and then you never release them again, and so they're just, you put all this time into these amazing sculpts, and it's like, yeah, if you didn't get the mystery box, then guess what? You're never able to buy them. So, yeah, make sure you bring it up so I can give Emil crap. But yes, this is awesome. You've got a couple more here, and
Yep,
I love that you gave us, the front and side view on these. So
yeah, I was really proud of getting it's like blue-green kind of gradient on those are those little ribby sides. I'm still working on that silver one to get the red accents on those. And I'm really proud, like, it's got like brown and it's got some coppery and silver on it. Like, my dad helped, this was like the first head I ever painted, and my dad helped do the touch-ups because I didn't have my magnifier yet to do the details. And he has like a really special place in my heart because he was the first custom that me and my dad worked on together. And
oh, that's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So I love him. He's great.
And then we got this one here, which this one blew me away. So you
Oh,
gotta
wow.
please talk in detail about what you got going on here.
Oh, 100%. I actually didn't like how this one turned out, and I hated it for a little while.
Wow. I love it. I think it's awesome.
I'm so glad. Like, this one was white, and I dry brushed, like, I had a purple, and then I had a blue, and then I mixed the pink, myself out of, like, 2 different colors that I had. Because I was like, "Well, I don't have pink, but I can make it out of the ones I have, might as well make it instead of having to buy a whole 'nother, like, $5 pot of paint." And so that was really fun to, like, just try dry brushing it, and then I got the colors where I wanted on the pink and then the blue and and I put purple on there. I forgot. There's purple on there too. And then I put it was a wash. It was a purple wash on top of all of the things to kind of
nice.
accentuate that kind of those shadows. And that's it. So it's just dry brushing and then that wash on top. And I haven't touched it since. Like, well, people really like it, and I don't want to ruin it. So
yeah, it looks like there's like 7 or 8 colors in there. Like there's so much like shifting from one to another, and in certain spots it looks almost like pearlized, and it's just super cool. I love that.
He reminds me of a jellyfish, and so I wanted to kind of give that vibe.
Yeah, it's almost like that translucent jellyfish type of vibe. But yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
I was going to say, this is definitely giving me like sea creature vibes, something aquatic, and just the shifts and like the way the chin spikes are kind of going back out into that purple. Pinks are really cool. Like, this is pretty sweet. And I'm pretty sure this is a head that I think Wolf King has this head.
Yep.
I don't remember who sculpted it or where it came from, but I know it's one of the ones with Wolf King.
Little peek behind the curtains at Wolf King. Len messaged me after you got your care package, all the parts, and he's like, I love that sending those parts to Mira, because when she holds it, it makes the heads look like they're huge. Like, just in your hands, the heads look like they're like ogre shaped. It's like, no, they're just regular heads.
That's so funny. I do have very tiny hands, and I'm like 4'11" in real life, so I'm super short. So
he sends the same heads to Stephen Bisciotti, and it looks like they're for miniatures.
So that's awesome.
And then we got this one here, which is just another amazing one.
Yeah, this one's I think it was sculpted by Emil, if I remember correctly. And it was hard. It's probably one of the hardest sculpts that I've worked on because of the amount of detail on it. But I wanted to do something steampunky, and I had to try a couple times to get the bone texture the way that I wanted to. But it was really fun getting to like try and see how I wanted it. It was basically black, dry brushing a bunch of different like steampunky brassy tones, and in a gold. I have like a really old gold paint that you can kind of get brass tones out of if you shake it right. So that's been fun. And then I hit it with the Nuln oil wash in a couple of places to kind of get that kind of shininess on it, and that was that.
Yeah, so Emil has a character in God's Fire called the Fallen, which is one of his favorite characters that I think he sculpted. Which has it's a Templar that has this kind of skull mask that goes over his face. And
so
this
cool.
was kind of his inspiration was to try to do that kind of character, but in space. And so that's where this came from. And yeah, the piece itself has a lot of details on it. And I love the way that you painted it to where like several of the details just really pop. And I like the bluish tint on the skull, and then as it goes into more like the bronze and gold as it gets to the helmet. So yeah, that's really cool.
I really appreciate that. It was fun. It was tricky, but I'm glad it ended up evolving nicely. So
Jesse?
Yeah, like I look at this and I can just hear like the sound of like the pistons and like the clockwork inside of it, like turning and gearing, and like some weird creepy sounds coming, like with the skull being like reanimated, or there's just a lot of like you said before about some of the pictures, storytelling coming off of this, just seeing it done the way it is, just imagining that in a show or a movie or a book or something, and
well,
that's great.
How people can paint it differently, because like to Jesse's point, like hearing those things, like all of those steampunk aesthetics that you can see it coming out in this. Whereas if somebody else painted it, like if I painted or Jesse painted, it would be, completely different. So yeah, it's cool to see your personality, your interest, come out as the paint job, kind of comes to completion. So
thank you.
Yeah, and depending on who paint, it might have more like that kind of like cyber, like cosmic kind of energy. If you did it more like futuristic colors or whatever. Yeah, this is really cool.
And Paul says reminds him of Superpower's version of Brainiac. I could definitely see that.
Ooh,
yeah, it's got that like the skull, but then also like all the metallic parts and stuff. This one was really cool. This little book.
Yeah, this one's like, I think it's the Necronomicon. This one's also by Mike Swistack. He has some crazy cool stuff. And this one was black, and then I dry brushed a bunch of I did red, and then my dad. Then I was like, well, I don't know what to do with this one. I'm really struggling. And so he's like, well, let's try to do some pinks and kind of make it look more fleshy. And so we kind of worked on it together, and it was really great how it evolved into looking very hideously monstrous. And so it's like pink and red and some brown, and then hit it with some brown washes and some Nuln oil to kind of get it to look more leathery and worn, and then kind of sandy color for the pages to make it look like it's very old. So
yeah, the most impressive part for me is the pages. Like the front is great, and I love that. It very much looks like a fleshy covered book. But the pages I think look phenomenal on the side.
Thank you. So. I did the pages all myself, so I really appreciate that.
Jesse, got anything?
The paintwork is amazing. This piece makes me so uncomfortable, but like that's to talk about how well you've done your work on it. And doing the pages right, like that, this isn't meant to be a poke at the age difference here, but like growing up for like high school, everything was paper, and with so much stuff digital age now, it's easy to forget what pages in a book look like, if you're not actively doing it all the time. So that, yeah, the pages on that are fantastic.
I really appreciate that.
And then this one, and I've seen you've done this one a couple times, right? Because I thought I saw different. Okay, I thought I saw a different color paint job on this, but maybe
it could
maybe you started one way and did it another.
So yeah, it might be the lighting too, because I think this one has more warmer lighting, and it could be it's I used to be all silver, and I dry brushed it all silver, and then I took a picture, and I was like, well, this is nice, but let's see if I can try and challenge and push myself. And so I kind of did a coppery look for the flames, and then for the shoulder rest and the fingerboard, I did a more gold color. And I think and the tuning pegs are also a little bit of gold. I definitely want to do a whole gold fiddle and have like a devil like actual like homage, because that's like one of the first fiddle tunes I ever learned. So it was really fun. But I did paint it originally all silver, and then I added some kind of coppery accents. This is going to be the main instrument for my character Balance, who's like this Templar, musical Templar. And they're from another story that I worked on. They used to be just like this character who's supposed to be bringing balance to the universe through multiple universes through music. And so I'm really excited to kind of mythicify them. So
Gotcha. And it's
yeah.
what's really cool about this is the fiddle looks like a normal size fiddle in your hand. So
Oh yeah. That's so funny.
Jesse,
The
what do you
world's
got?
tiniest violin.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of this. I mean, I don't have a lot to add to the quality of the paintwork, because it's great. You're doing an amazing job with these. Again, it's evoking sounds. Like, this does not look like a 3D printed part. Like that silver, the metallics you put on there. Like, I know the first song a lot of people will think of when they see an instrument like this is, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. And that part where they're like sliding down the strings, I don't know the technical terms for music, but like
Okay.
I just hear that, and just kind of these like ethereal sounds coming out of this thing. So another job very well done.
And Jordan points out this is a Toy Forge part. So yeah, hit up Anthony Houseel if you are interested in one of those. So
100%.
We've got this one, which we already saw that character. So we keep moving. This one we have not seen though. So talk about this.
This one's like a Valkyrie angel, and I think it would be really cool if like she came from like her essence is it was from a falling star that fell to like the planet. I don't know what planet. I think maybe in the world of mythos, maybe adjacent. And she's basically made of like lava and stone and metal, and she has this like internal furnace that's this burning star. You can't see it in this picture, but inside below that little neck piece, it's bright orangey red. And so I thought it would be really cool to have that kind of internal star pieces, and then adding those kind of accents of the blue and the gold and the coppery and the like the irony colors, so that she looks like she could go and forge into battle. And I'm still working on her story. I don't have a name for her yet. If you have any ideas, feel free to shoot me a message. But most of this is mainly dry brushing. Because I thought it would be cool, because I love metallics. I'm like, oh, I'm in a metallic mood, and I'm just gonna see if I think it would be cool to do this. And my dad had the bronze dwarf. And I was like, "Ooh, actually, this might be able to work." And so like we kind of combined the different pieces. And he was like, "Oh, I'll just harvest the pieces and find them, because I want you to be able to build out this lady." And so it was really fun. I'm still working on the tail piece, or the little loincloth piece, but it was really fun to experiment and get the feathers to look metallic. And so it was like just dry brushing blue, like silver, blue, silver. And I honestly liked her a lot more than I thought. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but her story and her vibe is definitely evolving. So
when I looked at this, I thought of like the old like Ray Harryhausen films where like you'd have like bronze statues and stuff just like come to life and start like attacking people and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I felt like when I saw this. Yeah, it's super cool looking. I like it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I was trying to think of the word, Curtis, but yeah, Harryhausen, just because like how the face and the armor, it all blends together. Like was it Bubos the owl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like that, just that vibe is coming across in this kind of like built thing coming to life, or I like the idea of the furnace in it, and the star or inside fueling is really cool.
Well, I want to show this this one here, because we've kind of talked about that torso. So tell us what's going on here, because I love this.
Sure thing. And that first piece, the helm and the chest piece are both from Mythic Bits on Instagram. So if you want one, go reach out to them. And this one is I wanted to, because I'm trying to build my skills so I can do that fossilized angel custom. And so I thought it would be really cool. I'm like, well, I got this really awesome torso, so let's see if I can match it together. And so this one's still Ozymandias, but more of like mythic cosmic fusion. I'm still working on trying to find, I think I want to use Ilgar's arms and legs, and just have them match the kind of metallic color. It would be cool to find a gold skeleton, but obviously it's totally out of, unless they do a 2.0.
Not only that, finding a gold skeleton, but then having the guts to actually customize a gold skeleton.
I could never. So I think Ilgar's are close. So I think I'm gonna use his arms, and pop him in there and kind of do that. I'm still working on exactly what armor pieces, but he's evolving really nicely. I think it would be cool to have him be like skeleton mage kind of character, maybe some relation to Necrominus, like in the cosmic world. I'm still working out his backstory, but I love the skeleton vibes, and I'm working on building up the courage to do that fossilized angel eventually. So working on.
And did you do the color shift paints on the skull? Is that what that? Okay, because that looks awesome.
And the torso. Okay. So both of those are the same. So it's funny how it can look purple on one thing on that head,
right,
and it can look blue on something else. And so I used that same paint on this guy, and I'm like, oh, this looks awesome. I love it. It makes me think of Lapis Lazuli. And I thought it was really cool that it kind of has that kind of vibe, and I'm like, oh, I'm really liking it. So yeah,
that's super cool. Jesse, you got anything?
It's getting exhausting. Like so many cool pieces of artwork from you. No, I mean that in the best way. No, these are all cool. Like there's just so much like depth, and like the stories you're putting in behind them and everything is really cool. I love like the different metallic effects, the gold over the blue and everything. It's just a really, really cool looking piece. And it's I want to know more, but again, some of the pieces you've worked on and just kind of have this like off-putting, and I don't mean that like you are not off-putting, but like the characters, like there's some weird disconnection with it, and it reminds me of blanking on the artist's name, but some of the stuff we talked about it when we had Immortal Collections on, and Tristan was talking about the one art book. I
can't remember. I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
I don't think it wasn't the Geiger book, was it?
I'm not sure.
Anyway,
where Jesse does research.
It's amazing artwork. But yeah, it's really cool. I mean, I know it's I like it.
So
thank you. I really appreciate it.
So for this next one, I've got several pictures that have this same custom that ends in what I think is the money shot of the night. So I'm gonna roll through these, and then when we get to the last one, have you talk about this character. But so we've got this character with the bone arms. It's got the Sphexian wings. It's got that head, the soft goods. So here he's basically squaring off against Poxus. You got him here. Got a bunch of different shots with him. So these are all great. Love that. And then it comes to this one.
Yeah.
And this is amazing. I love this. The whole thing, like this feels very like not only the custom is cool, but just very professional photograph is what this feels like to me. So tell us a little bit about this character, what's going on, what the inspiration was, all of that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This one was really, really fun. It was me and my dad tinkering with some photography stuff. I think it was I don't remember what there was that contest that they had, I think last month or a month before. It was like the photography. Yeah.
Oh, the magic effects. That was
The magic effects one.
Yeah,
Yes,
the Michael
yes.
Xavier one. I can't remember what the name
Yes.
of it was, but yeah.
Practical effect?
Practical effects.
Yeah,
Yes.
the practical effect one. And so my dad's like, hey, we got this whole like set of magical effects. And so and this is actually a stool, like a stool that we have in our reading nook that's like mushroom shaped.
Okay.
And so we kind of tucked him in there, and we tinkered with the lighting a couple of times, and then we decided to use like the flashlights you use to investigate like in the dark, like when you're hiking. We put one kind of to get that dramatic lighting, and I used my phone to kind of have it zoom in and take the picture to have it highlight, to dark the area around it, and then highlight. His name is Olivin, the Magnanimous, so he's supposed to be really kind and gracious. He's part robot, part skeleton. He's made of like, I think he has Ilgar's armor, the bones from another guy, the book and the potions from the heroic weapons pack, the Spexian guard wings. I don't remember. I think the cape comes from comes from a red skeleton. I don't remember what his name is. I'm still learning all the people's
probably
names.
Probably the Pelvicus, if I had to guess.
I think so. Yeah, and my dad had like the cape, and he's like, "Oh, I don't need it. You can have him for your guy." And so Olivin just means green, or like olive green. But I just thought it was cool. I like the way that it rolled off the tongue. And he's like a healer, but he's also really good at like tinkering. And so I really like, he's the first custom that I ever like fully worked on, and me and my dad did him together, and we painted, and he taught me how to paint the head, and we worked on it together, and he gave me critiques. And he has a really special place in my heart. I would love to bring him to Legion's Con this year. He's just, I love his personality and character, and he's just I feel like it would be cool if he fell asleep in a tree and kind of was brought to life to help all of the other characters in my story to kind of on their quest. And so the goddess of machines like granted him this boundless knowledge, and that's why he has a robot head, and the rest of him is like bones and like earthy bits. And maybe he's got also a pact with in relation to Xylona or something related to that. But I feel like he's definitely got paladin vibes. And I love him. He's my favorite. I'm still polishing out his story, but he's definitely good friends with the Parliament Alliance, all the bird friends.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this photo, and it felt very much like I never would have guessed that's a stool that he's in, number one. Like it felt like he's like inside, some sort of hive or something. Yeah. I was like, I don't even know where she took this photo or how she got this, or she built. So finding out that's a stool just absolutely shocks me. But I love the lighting. I love the pose, the magic effect, like the whole thing. And the character itself is just really cool. I said it before, but just your ability to like mix cosmic and mythic and 3D parts, and there's no like coloring inside the lines for you. Like everything's fair game.
Yeah.
So I just love that. But yeah, Jesse, you're probably seeing this photo for the first time. So what's your thoughts on this?
Going back to an earlier comment, I just see the saga title going right across the dark portion of the top of this image for the comic, and like being like, okay, someone made a custom figure for the comic, and they used it as a cover for the book. Like it's right in that. The lighting of it, like looking like it's coming out of some like, somewhere deep in the forest, or like you said, had fallen asleep in a tree or something, but just like that spot of bright light coming on and hitting the wings, and you get some of the reflection on the other side of the wings. Like I want to know more about this character. I want to know more about this story. Like I know some people have said, that the fantasy tropes of mythic, like there's limitations to it. And I've always argued, and they've said that, that cosmic is just so more wider open. You can go so many more places with it. You're not limited by, expectations of like the Tolkien and the different, other well-established fantasy things. And this, I never would have gone here just because, but like, this is just such an awesome way to like integrate all those things together. and actually do it. Like, I was trying to find ways to make things work between the two worlds, and you putting it together like this, and just the stories rolling off like off your idea, your brain, and everything is just really cool. So yeah, I was just gonna say it, but Carver beat me to it. If you want to bring it to Legion's Con, you're welcome to display it on his table.
Oh my gosh, that's so kind. Oh, I really appreciate that. And I'm still working on that bot guy. I hope to maybe do him in a similar color scheme so they can be buddies. So
I was just going to say that I could
done.
totally see this guy with some charbots on either side of him. That would be awesome.
Heck yeah. 100%.
And then Steph here says, oh, sorry. Steph said, your dad sounds like so much fun. What a treasure it is that you can share this together. I love that. Very well said. I mean, we're seeing it more and more each Legion's Con, husbands and wives and parents and children and all of this kind of stuff that it's not just a bunch of middle-aged men going and buying toys, but it's really like family affairs. It's becoming more of that. So, but yes, such a special thing for you and your dad to be able to share this bond and have fun together. So cool.
Absolutely. And Brian, the dial, that would be so cool. Like, I'm getting so excited. So thank you. That's so awesome. That's so cool.
Awesome. So that's it. We made it through the slides. A lot of great stuff. I knew you had, just from seeing your work in the studio, I knew you had done some great paint jobs. I knew you had put together some cool characters. I think the biggest surprise for me tonight was just how much thought you've put into the stories, the backstories on these characters and all the different tie-ins and how, how their story relates to the rest of the lore and stuff. So I think that's just super cool. So yeah, really nice job.
I really appreciate it. It's so cool. Like, the lore and the characters and everything is just so interesting. I can't wait to learn more as like more characters come out and we learn more and the book comes out. That's going to be so exciting. So it's fun stuff for sure.
Well, there you go. The hits just keep coming. So there you go.
That's so crazy. That's so amazing.
So we've talked about your work. We gave a couple giveaways out. We're 2.5 hours into the show, so I think it's time that we talk some Lost in Space. So what do you guys think?
That's cool. I thought we were talking about 3-body problem. I think that we lost.
Oh, Mira, I think you're muted.
There you sorry about that. My headphones. Right. Yeah, it's all good. I was gonna say I think it was 3-body problem too. I'm happy to talk about anything and everything sci-fi.
I thought we were talking about Lost in Space. Okay, I have not seen 3-body problem, but yes, you're
that's
more than
why
welcome
I was surprised when I said, "Oh,
I thought we were still talking about the Lost in Space from the helmet thing that she did." But
it's all good.
we can talk about that
my
too.
Conversation clutch where I just kind of said something and then switched to something else without warning. So
gotcha. Hey, I'm okay. We can talk about whatever you guys want though.
But we'll save that since Curtis hasn't watched it yet. We'll save that.
Okay.
Well, what if once I watch it, what if we bring Mira on and do a Wednesday one shot with us?
I was thinking the same thing.
That would be so sweet. Oh, that would be awesome. I love talking about anything and everything sci-fi. I grew up with watching sci-fi. Like, me and my dad are doing an entire watch through actually chronologically of Star Trek right now.
Oh, nice.
And we're almost done with Enterprise, and then we're going to move on to Discovery. And so it's just really nice that we've been bonding over that and stuff. Like, I love science fiction is my home. So I love talking about that stuff. So
yeah, that would be interesting because with Star Trek, they've jumped around and done stuff that's earlier and late. So I guess there must be some sort of guide out there that shows you what to watch in order.
It's my dad's brain.
Okay. Because even within series, there's certain times where they kind of move around and stuff. So yeah. And then at least a couple of the movies, they've traveled through time and stuff. So that would be interesting as well. So interested to see how that goes for you. You'll have to let us know how that goes after you guys get done with that.
So. 100%. It's an ordeal for sure. It's good. And the next season of Discovery is coming out I think this month sometime soon, or maybe it's already out. So like it's cool stuff like Star Wars, Star Trek, anything and everything. Lots of Frank Herbert, Isaac Asimov. There's a bunch of films out there like Annihilation,
Oh, that's a good
Arrival,
one.
Interstellar.
Oh,
Mhm.
Arrival.
Like and I think there's a bunch of like other like just one-off films.
Mhm.
There's one that had like bugs in it that was really interesting. I know that doesn't really narrow it down. It's like I'll have to find it, but we make it a point to watch like anything cerebral sci-fi or sci-fi in general that comes up.
Mhm.
Like we love to watch it and like sit down and talk about it. Like, and when I was younger, like my dad read all of Lord of the Rings to us, and
Mm.
each chapter we would talk about what had happened. And then once we read all of Lord of the Rings, we graduated to Dune. And like each chapter we kind of talked about it and connected it to like life and social and like all of these different pieces. So it's just been really nice getting to like I think he really helped develop that love for science fiction and helped foster that
Okay.
creative energy, and I'm really glad I can bring it into my customizing work and stuff with that.
That is so
Have
awesome.
Have you seen Monsters by Gareth Edwards?
I don't think I have. I definitely need
Okay.
to watch it though.
It's a 2010 movie, and it's two characters. There's some really interesting. I don't want to spoil anything for it, so I won't talk about any of the behind the scenes stuff. But it's a really interesting movie, kind of very intimate. It's just between these two characters as they're trying to make their way back into the United States from Mexico. But it's definitely got like an alien sci-fi vibe to it as kind of like the background. But that one's really cool. And another one what was it? District 9. Have you seen District 9?
Yes, that's the one that I was thinking about, but I couldn't
Okay.
remember the name of. That one was incredible. I think it was quite a few years ago when we watched it, but that one was really really good and
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know why I'm not like remembering it, but like if you shoot off some of the details, I'm sure it'll get those
It's in
gears.
South Africa. The giant ship has just stalled out over Johannesburg, and a lot of the bugs have come down,
Oh
so they're all
yes,
like
yes, yes,
refugees, and they're kind of bug-like. They call them prawns and
yes.
everything, and yeah.
That's the exact movie.
Yep.
That's the exact movie that I was thinking about. And it's just the way that they talk about it and the way that like their society like evolves and the way they interact with each other is
Mhm.
so interesting. And the bug analogy. Oh wait, no, I don't want to spoil their bug any of that stuff. But the bug analogy is really interesting. So
The
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the one thing that I thought of as we were going through and looking at your customs and stuff was Chappie. Like,
Chappie, yes!
yeah,
Same
Oh my
director.
gosh,
yeah,
yeah! Oh, that one is so good. It's been a hot minute since I've seen that one, but that one was an emotional experience, and it
yeah,
was so good. And the robot design, incredible.
yeah. I looked at a lot of your customs like as I was putting the slides together, and I'm like, man, this is like Chappie. You know,
That's
it's
so
like, yeah,
real. Just
yeah,
channeling the vibes.
yeah. So awesome. Love that.
I felt the same way, Andy.
Oh, gotcha.
You said ashamed of being a
Yeah,
human. Yeah, that's a rough move. Like there's a lot
yeah,
to process in most of his movies.
yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of therapeutic too, in a way, like because you see it
Sure.
and you think, and then you analyze, and then you see about the way the world works, and like I don't know, like
Mm.
and then you think about like, well, how can we make it better so that it doesn't so that hopefully our society
Yeah.
doesn't evolve to something like that.
And there's a
So
lot of
Yeah.
things like that. We were just talking recently about the X-Men 97 and
mm,
you know the vibe there where it's like, you know, the humans versus mutants and you know the differences between like how Professor X deals with that kind of being oppressed versus how Magneto deals with that and just the
right.
different philosophies. And but you know, you can do, you know, watch stuff like that and be like, man, these humans stink. And it's like, oh wait, I'm a human.
Yeah,
So
it's me.
yeah. Yeah. And then just kind of, you know, but you're right, it does give you a chance to kind of internalize some of that and go, okay, how could I be better?
Right.
So yeah, that's cool.
It's neat. I
Dario,
yeah. Mm.
I'll 100% give some love to I think Real Steel is
Mm.
a highly underrated movie.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, it's a real
It's
good one.
essentially Rock'em Sock'em Robots, the old toy, as a live action movie. But
Ooh,
it's about this washed up boxer that's like training robots to fight. And it's a solid movie.
It's really good. That's one of those ones. Like Darla doesn't often recommend movies. Like it's very rare, but that's one where she's like, "Yeah, we've got to watch this one." I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it a try," because she very rarely recommends it. Yeah, spot on. It's so good. It's
That's
amazing.
awesome. I'll have to check that one out. Also, have you guys seen Pluto on Netflix? It's like
I have
an
not.
animated. I think it's interesting because I think it's actually a take on Astro Boy. But it's like this dark, like sci-fi gritty take, and it's like an 8 episode, maybe 8 or 9 episode miniseries, and like the main robot, like the main guy, his name is like Gestalt, I think, or something. But it's really interesting getting to see the way characters play and interact. It's an anime, I think. But the dub is really really good. So I would highly recommend it. Like the animation is incredible. There's lots of really interesting droids and philosophies, and also like thinking about iRobot and the like the laws of robotics. Like it ties into that too. That's also another really good movie. So
yes, yeah, very
Beautiful.
cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Well, Mira, I think sky's the limit for you.
Thank you.
You have taken off like a rocket. I know there's going to be no shortage of people offering for you to display things at their table.
That's so kind.
Including Brian, who so generously offered up. And hopefully, I know the vendor spot is pretty much locked in for this year, but hopefully we see you with your own table here soon, because you're just doing some awesome work. And more importantly than that, just like your excitement, enthusiasm for this, and like really you are a shot in the arm for some of the other folks in the community, because you're just so like infectiously positive, and it does permeate around you. So thank you so much. It's been just an absolute joy to have you in the studio, and it was awesome to have you here tonight to talk about it. So
it was really wonderful. Thank you guys so much for having me. It was a real treat getting to talk, and all the things getting to share, and talk about sci-fi stuff, and just vibe. It's been really great.
Totally cool. So well, do you have anything else coming up that you would like to promote? Whether it's any shows that you're going to, anything that you want people to be aware of?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm a little bit busy because I'm studying for the LSAT right now, actually.
Oh, nice.
But the next con I'm going to is definitely Legion's Con in November.
Okay.
So I'm really excited. Me and my dad got tickets, and we got plane tickets, so we're all locked in and ready to go. So that's going to be really amazing. I have my Instagram at the Relentless Optimist. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because it kind of fits the importance of being relentlessly optimistic no matter what you face. And so, if you'd like to follow me there and watch my journey, like that would be cool. If I love painting, so and doing trades. So if you're ever if you're curious or want me to paint something up for you, I'd be happy to as we learn and grow together. And so I'm just really thankful for the awesome Cabal community and for you guys, and I'm really looking forward to Legion's Con this year, and I will post up some of my new customs. I'm hoping to finish the Valkyrie lady soon. I work in between studying, so it's a little bit busy, but it's been really nice to have an awesome creative outlet. So definitely Legion's Con, and definitely got some awesome customs in the work that I'll hopefully have done in the next month or so, and it'll be a blast.
Beautiful. Well, folks, just kind of a little teaser for you as well. If you want to spend some time with Mira and hang around her awesomeness, I'm getting ready to, right after we're done with the show and we've closed out and we're away from you guys and we're not live, I'm going to talk to Mira about a little thing at Legion's Con that we're doing, which involves the customizing studio. And hopefully she will like to be involved with that, and you guys can come spend some time with her. So we will talk about that after the show, and be on the lookout for some announcements coming on that. But there is going to be a customizing studio event at Legion's Con, and we hope to see you guys there. So
yay! Oh, that'll be awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, it's been awesome having you on. We are going to put you in the back room. If you do have to go, let us know. That's fine. We can catch up with you later. But if not, hang out back there and we'll be right back with you after we close out the show.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
All right. We're all rooting for you, Mira.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks. See you in a second. Another show.
It is another show.
That was
a great chat.
Jesse, sometimes we've talked a few times, especially on our Wednesday one shots, about things that we like to watch that make us just feel good, and it's we've talked about Ted Lasso. We did a review recently on Chosen. I think this episode is going to be one of those for me, that if I'm not quite feeling it, I'm just having a little bit of a rough day, just gonna pop on this episode and listen to Mira for a couple hours, because
there you
man,
go.
you cannot be sad or mad and listen to that kid, man. I tell you what, she is going places. So
absolutely, totally agree. Yes.
And well, we do have a show next week, right?
We
do every week, right?
Every Sunday. Yeah.
What are we at now in a row? We like a year and 4 months straight without missing a week?
I'd have to count. Yeah, we haven't missed a week. I mean, I started this season 1 started, I think, like mid-June or late June, 2022. And I think
you do this every Sunday. Yes, we do.
I know since you joined, we've not missed a Sunday at all. So all of last year and all of this year, so whatever 52 plus 14 is.
Well, what do we have for these folks for next week?
So next week, we've got. Why don't you introduce this gentleman, Curtis?
All right. Here we go. Are you pulling up the slide, or am I? Are we both going to hit the button at the same time? Okay, go ahead. This is Chris Brennan. We actually looked earlier. It's War Weasel that we were looking at on the slides. That's doing all the Battle Beast customs. Which let's go all the way back to the beginning here. Which I know there's an easier way. I could just click on it, but we're just going to go through all Mira slides. And right here, War Weasel 83. So this custom that you saw earlier is his. And he's got many, many more. We're going to totally geek out about Battle Beast next week, and I'm going to have an amazing time. Not sure about Jesse, because I don't know how much Jesse likes Battle Beast, but he does like talking and getting to know new people. So I think that's going to be fun for him as well. What do you think, Jess?
I do like Battle Beasts.
Okay.
But like, you like Battle Beasts more than I do. So I just, when I see his post, I don't even bother grabbing him because I know you're going to post it. So I'm just letting you have that one. So
I'm the same with all Richard Simmons posts. I just know that you're going to get it. So I just leave them alone. And that's why I have not chosen them for shelf selections, just so everybody knows.
Well, yeah. I mean, I picked one this week, I know. I don't know what else you want from me. I genuinely like the picture. That was not pandering.
It was good.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us in the chat. Thank you all the folks who super chatted, all our channel members, all the people that participated in the poll the last 2 weeks, and thank you for voting Curtis's hat off the island.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that more than you know.
Thank you very much to Mira for joining us tonight. We're going to let everybody, whoever was waiting for it, thank you for coming to watch us instead of watching WrestleMania. Blows my mind. That's a thing.
Hey, don't be critiquing WrestleMania. Hey,
well, I just no. That they didn't watch WrestleMania in order to watch us. I'm not mocking WrestleMania.
Gotcha.
But they put off. Yeah, I'm thanking them for.
I appreciate that. I do have one more thing though before we close out. We are at 723 subscribers. And I believe we said our next giveaway that we were going to do was at 750. So we are 27 away from another giveaway. So if you folks enjoyed the show, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you have friends that you think would like it, have them check it out and subscribe if they like it. We would like to do another giveaway, and we'll take a look at that throughout this week and see if we can't put some cool stuff together. If we make it next weekend, great. If we don't, we'll do it when we hit there. But yeah, we're on the countdown to 750. So
I won't speak for Curtis. I will not be shaving my beard at any number. No.
Yeah, it is not pretty. So you got to hide this stuff. You got to, yeah.
I'm just lazy. I don't want to put that effort.
Yeah, for me, I'm scared. So.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here, watching live or on the replay. We'll get to the 750 and see where that goes. Also, we don't want to step on that was Jordan's thing. We got to come up with something else. We can't just do what Purple Gang does.
Yeah, we'll also shave something on Jordan. So,
with that said, thanks for being here, and until next.
I got a laugh from Darla, by the way. So that
was What's on your shelf? No!